So, you came back. What the questionable decision you've made there, my friend. I'm afraid I have nothing more to offer you other than pain. Which, to be fair, you deserve, because you've come back here, nerd. In case none of that is applicable to you, or you just don't know what's going on, in which case, why? This is part 2 of my in-depth analysis of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley. A game which can best be described as continually smashing your face into a brick wall because the colours that your face leaves behind on said wall are mesmerising to you. And you better believe that I enjoy smashing my face into that wall, because here we are again for another round. While you're here, if you haven't watched part 1, is beyond me. I assume that your brain has been bruised a bit by the face smashing, so go watch that, and if that didn't help, I'll recap here. In the previous chapter, we covered the history that led up to the creation of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley, as well as the entirety of the first chapter, which we went in depth with, looking at gameplay, mechanics, ways the game makes itself stand out against other visual novels, the merits of its use of shock value content, and an in-depth look at the relationship between our two inglorious main characters, Andrew and Ashley Graves. The thing about the Coffin of Andy and Leyley is that we're here for story more so than anything else. As I've said, their relationship and putting together why they are the way that they are, and trying to figure out if there is some way to either put them in the ground or, failing that, get them to stop being the way that they are, is the main appeal. I went over the gameplay and mechanics not because they're super important to understanding the game, but because I am a weirdo who enjoys figuring out why things work the way that they do. As I said, we're here for story more so than anything else. And this episode is where that becomes abundantly clear. We are about to get very deep into the weeds with these two, and get into my favourite part of this game, armchair psychoanalysis. Once again, I'd like to thank Esther from I Am Your Magician, who made a whole playthrough of the game that they voice acted and have kindly allowed me to use in this horrible venture. Links to their channel will be in the description, and I wholeheartedly recommend their work. I said last time that if the game interested you, that it would be a good time for you to go and play or check out the game yourself before coming back to me. Have you done that? If no, then I guess I can't stop you. There's nothing else to do or say, so let's get right back into it. So, Chapter 2 takes place about a week after the events of Chapter 1, and so far the consequences of our actions haven't caught up to us yet, which is nice. Since they got out of their apartment, our two favourite little murderers have been staying at this nearby motel for a bit, trying to keep a low profile. This goes so far to the point of Andrew not even wanting to risk withdrawing money, because that would alert the banks to where he is, and in his own words, he'd rather be overly cautious than dead. The main reason they're here, we learn, by way of Andrew going on an impromptu rant, is because the place they're staying at doesn't require identification, and that helps them to avoid drawing any attention.
And I don't get why they want to check my ID for every fucking thing. Like, goddamn, I just wanted to stay at a hotel. Why do you need to know who I am? Paying up front, aren't I? It's just not like I'd bail out on them.
I mean, presumably it's to make sure that you aren't a murderer, Andrew, which, you know, is a bit of a problem considering you are one, so great critical thinking skills there, brainy boy. Ashley obviously contributes to this whole maintaining a low profile thing by trying to set Andrew's newspaper on fire because she's bored, the deranged little psycho. Antics aside, Andrew hasn't been able to find any mention of them in the papers whatsoever, which is weird, right? They did axe quite a few people trying to get out, and the company went to a lot of effort to make sure that they wouldn't be able to communicate with the outside world, organ harvesting ring and all that. So one would suspect that they'd want to keep that whole thing under wraps, yet so far, nothing. And Andrew wants to keep it that way, even if it means staying in a motel in a rundown area.
Ooh-hoo, the motel's fine too.
It's really not. Swear I heard gunshots last night. Or was that just you?
It shot anything.
Yeah. What?
I think I left my gun back in the room.
I really wish you'd be less nonchalant about everything all the time.
Hey now, we can't both be constantly shitting ourselves over every little thing.
That's true. Let's just get back to the motel before someone breaks in and steals the damn thing.
Not the hell with that, let's take a look around. Hello, fine sir.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Rude.
Are you looking for something specific? Nah, just window shopping. In that case, may I interest you in leaving me the fuck alone?
Well, screw you too then.
Are you tired of living? Inquires the ad. Ask your doctor if euthanasia is right for you.
Don't threaten me with a good time. This is also the area where you can find the advertisement for the caramelized apple and cinnamon flavored soda I mentioned back in Chapter 1. Apparently, it's a limited time deal. Don't get it now and miss out forever. Ashley is curious about it, and Andrew slaps that right down, telling her that with their finances, it's either that or dinner. But if we go to the nearby vending machine, Andrew flatly just says that no, he lied, she's not getting the soda. Once again though, he is lying because I am going to make him get the soda later on, but that's neither here nor there right now. Going into their room, Andrew starts watching the news to see if there's any mention of them on there either. We can also find newspapers on the floor showing that he's been pretty diligent about this for a while. If we take a look at the bed, with 2 pillows up here, we learn that Andrew's apparently been having panic attacks every other night. Seems that everything that happened is still bothering him. I wonder what's on the TV.
Hey, get your fat ass out the way!
Ass! I think you meant my awesome fat tits, you cocksucker!
Move, you cow!
Whatever, wanker.
Oh, I will not be spoken to that way. You get right back over there, Ashley.
Alas, I cannot watch the news off your fat tits. Would you mind getting out of the way, dear sister of mine?
I am not fat. How could I be after starving for so long?
No, you're right, but you're also in the way.
Apologize!
I'm sorry that you can't understand. I'm trying to watch TV.
You're so lucky I love you too much to shoot you.
I appreciate it. And I would appreciate you too if you moved a little to the left.
You're supposed to say you love me too!
I do! Now fuck off!
Oh, what a delightfully accurate depiction of a sibling relationship this game has captured.
Andrew pretends not to see you. Or your fat tits.
Oh, I amuse myself far too much with these things. Having defeated Andrew by the power of being incredibly annoying, which is how I win most of my fights, we can finally have a look at what's on the TV.
Anything else? Hey, you! Aren't you tired of drinking the same old water every day?
Yeah, it's so wet.
Have you tried Toxisoda? It's water, but worse! Now in 3 new flavors. Awful, gross, and nasty. Try them today. Toxisoda. Tastes like life.
I don't know why I'm drinking this.
Riveting stuff. I can see why you were so insistent on watching this, Andrew. According to Andrew, they have to leave in the morning. God knows what the plan is from here, but Ashley clears up their clothes and throws them into the washer while she's still got the chance. And reclaims her gun. Oh, well, technically the warden's gun, whatever, it's hers now. After getting all of that done, Ashley, being the twat that she is, decides to try and press her luck and pester Andrew, who just isn't having any of it.
I really am such a sweetheart. You're so damn lucky to have me.
Yeah.
I cook, and I clean, and I'm a feast on the eyes. Meanwhile, what do you do? Watch TV all day like a slob.
Knock it off.
You're not gonna be in the news, Andy.
You might recall that Andrew had asked Ashley not to call him that. It was, in fact, the one thing that he asked of her. So, of course, this starts a fight.
I should have known.
Ooh, what are you gonna do about it, Andy? Gonna choke me out again, are you? Are you?
Do you want me to?
Oh, come on, I'm kidding. It's all in good fun.
Thought we were fine.
We are. I'm just messing around. It's a nickname. Get over yourself.
It's the one thing I asked of you. And it's symbolic, dumbass.
You and your romanticism, shove it up your ass.
I don't know what I was expecting.
Listen, I'm behaving. What more do you want? I'm being so good for you.
Are you? Because I'm getting the opposite impression here.
Yeah, you think I'm so awful, huh? Wanna see what it's like when I actually misbehave? I could be so much worse. Should I show you just how awful I really am?
Go for it! Oh, but you're going to find me a lot less accommodating than Andy.
And now to some less important news. One of the quarantined apartments has had a bit of a situation. Nothing major, just a fire that burned the whole place down. Everybody died. Yes, everybody. A representative from the water company is here with us today. Any comments?
Yes, my deepest condolences to the family members of the deceased. This apartment was most definitely not a wholly mismanaged mess, better burned to the ground. Therefore, it is so sad that this happened. To ease that sadness, we recommend you try our Toxisoda! We just rolled out 3 new and exciting
Excuse
flavors!
me, sir. Something seems to be going wrong with your microphone. I'm sure you mean to say to drink our trusty bubbly popply. which happens to be our sponsor. And it doesn't even make your organs bleed out of your ass, unlike some alternatives. Anyway, that was all for now. Tune in again later for more wholesome news to cheer up your day. That was our apartment, wasn't it?
Was being the correct tense indeed.
Well, that's mighty convenient, isn't it?
Did I leave the oven on?
So, with their former home having apparently burned to the ground, and having reportedly killed everyone, to Ashley's mind, this basically means that everything is going to sort itself out. Everyone will just assume that they were among the victims, and any evidence of their escapades will have been incinerated. Andrew doubts this, probably with good reason. Ashley's logic kind of ignores the fact that it's been a week. That's plenty of time for other people to just walk around, look for their 2 missing guards, see that 2 of the rooms which had wooden boards on them now no longer do, go inside, and find all the evidence of what happened alongside 2 missing residents whose bodies are not accounted for. And even assuming none of that happened, the freezer was still full of their cultist neighbor. What do you reckon the odds are that the bones inside the 2 separate frozen boxes were incinerated down to ash when literal cremation doesn't even do that? Kinda seems to me that even if the law isn't going to be an issue, the people who operated that whole organ harvesting affair would know and would want to keep them quiet. Also, as Andrew points out, that still leaves them homeless. Foresight, though, is apparently not one of Ashley's strong points, since she decides that now there's nothing to worry about, and goes to sleep without a care in the world. Except, remember that trinket that the demon gave her? That would give her clairvoyant dreams?
Someone has entered the room.
Well, that sucks. Bye, Andrew. Listen here, you. Against your better judgment, you think Andrew is all that, so you're not leaving without him. Damn it. So Ashley wakes up Andrew and the 2 of them get out of the room. Since this is the very first vision that they've gotten, instead of just running any which way, Ashley suggests that they stick around for a while to see if the guy actually shows up so they can see if the trinket actually does do its thing. Ashley is absolutely certain it'll work, though Andrew's more skeptical, but he does go along with it.
And so you stand there and wait. And wait. And wait. Andrew lights up his 4th cigarette. Another one? Way to blow money.
Blow out your ass, I'm bored and cold.
Like cold because that crap messes with your blood circulation.
Okay, Mom.
Makes you impotent too, by the way.
Didn't sound like I'd be meeting any girls anytime soon anyway.
What's stopping you?
Gee, I wonder who or what events could possibly be stopping him, Ashley.
I said that's enough!
Their argument in the making is stopped by someone coming down the path that they're on. Not the hitman they're expecting, though. Instead, they've come across another cultist.
Lucky for you, it wasn't the guy you were expecting to come slit your throat. But he sure looked familiar anyway. Didn't we eat that guy?
Don't say that out loud!
Ooh, sorry. Didn't we chop that guy up and store him in our freezer?
Ashley, come on!
Seriously though, I guess there's more from where he came from.
Where do you suppose he was off to?
Why, a sex and drugs party with demons. Why are you asking me?
Andrew suggests following them, but Ashley wants to stay here to see if their vision will come true or not. So the 2 of them split up, Ashley staying here to keep an eye out for the hitman, and Andrew to follow the cultist. And for the first time in the game, you are Andrew.
Now that you are Andrew, you can just chat with Ashley a bit. 3 times in total. The first to get directions in case you somehow missed the one singular thing that was happening as the cultist went into the alleyway. The second, Andrew telling Ashley not to do anything if the guy from her vision shows up, and Ashley says, yeah, obviously because she isn't actually brain dead, believe it or not. Andrew says he does not, and, hard to blame him, frankly. And the third one is Ashley commenting on him just being chatty.
Time to do probably the dumbest thing I could possibly think to do and go straight back to their motel room. What can we find in here, I wonder?
Oh yeah, you totally have nightmares as often as you claim.
We'll unpack that later. This is where you can get Ashley the terrible, unique soda if you're so inclined. She doesn't like it, but at least her curiosity is sated.
Well, any good?
You can have the rest.
So it's gross too! Oh, it's just great!
It tastes what nail polish smells like.
What a waste of money.
Not at all! My curiosity is sated. Chemical burn on my tongue aside, I really am mighty pleased with this random act of kindness.
Fantastic. Happy to hear it.
So ignoring that and the other distractions now put to the side, Andrew follows the cultist, sees a bunch of them, and tries following them into an elevator. It's protected by a password though. Whatever could it be? It's the number of the devil. It's 666. Because of course it is. It's written on the wall, for God's sake. Wait, why did you even entertain the idea that it was going to be anything else? Once inside, a pair of guards stop Andrew from going any further, since he's supposed to be in robes. You get to choose which dialogue to say in response to them, and obviously, you know, being a massive prick, I go for the most provocative option that I can.
Isn't this the demon sex party?
What? I hope not. My wife would kill me.
What the hell are you talking about? There's no such thing.
I do have a wife!
No, there's no demon sex party.
Oh well, just regular demon summoning then?
I mean, that's what I was told, but...
Listen, who the hell invited you? You're not even dressed properly.
Right. Sorry, I didn't know there was a dress code.
I don't know who told you about today, but you can go kick rocks.
Alright, I'll go. No harm done.
Doesn't really matter which one you pick. They'll kick Andrew out anyway.
Andrew concludes that their neighbor was probably part of this group, and he is curious to see if they can summon a demon or not. After all, eventually their neighbor managed it, and hey, Ashley did it as well. If he can learn something, then maybe that will give them an edge over what Ashley saw in her vision, and again, Ashley summoned the demon herself, and she's got a trinket that lets her see the future. Learning whatever he can about demons seems like a pretty good idea in case it ever comes up with Ashley. All of that is to say, Andrew decides to try and sneak in. Finds a hidden employee key and uses it to go through the side door.
You find some catering tables and some very passive-aggressive notes on the counter between bickering work colleagues. The elevator starts making noises as someone is headed up, so Andrew hides and spies a cultist taking the catering carts down, one at a time. So he hides himself on the second cart to sneak into the club, though he does witness a crime most heinous.
You wrap yourself in the curtain like a ghost and stuff yourself into the cart. The cultist hastily shoves a piece of cake into his mouth.
Oh, Dark Lord, that is good.
He carts you into the elevator.
Was this cart so much heavier than the other? Could it be the weight of my sins? No!
So now that we're inside, we can witness this gaggle of cultists attempting to summon a demon using the same ritual that Ashley did back in the neighbor's apartment.
Apparently, they're trying to summon an entity called Lord Unknown, to absolutely no success whatsoever.
Show yourself, Lord Unknown!
This is such fun.
Such fun. Reveal yourself to us, Lord Unknown! Cultists keep calling for Lord Unknown for a while. But it's becoming increasingly clear nothing is going to show up. Oh, look at this amateur hour. My Ashley summoned something on her first try. Oh, that's probably not a good thing, is it?
Since this was a complete failure, the cultist leader goes to head out, spots Andrew makes up a quick lie, and the leader leaves. Wonder what this member has to say.
Also, the beer they sell tastes like piss. Not that I've ever drunk piss. We'll say something.
No, I think I'll just let the awkwardness hang like sweet, sweet ambrosia. Well, this was fun. Glad we did this. Time to leave. Is Ashley still here? Damn it!
You done stupid on the cultist?
Yeah, so apparently there's a little cultist club where they all gather around for some demons and traits. They can't summon for shit. Absolutely nothing showed up.
Nothing showed up on this end either. I don't understand. It was a vision for sure. There was like...
You hear a car.
That's him! That's the guy who slit our throats in my dream!
Yikes. You really just went in a room like that.
You still doubted me?
Well, the trinket does indeed help us see visions of the future. That's good to know, I guess. Although this does mean we now have some knife-wielding lunatic to deal with. Ashley proposes luring him somewhere else and taking him out. Her logic being that this guy was sent to track them down specifically, so unless they take him out, he'll just keep following them, which is not a bad reason to put ourselves in harm's way, I suppose. We do have the element of surprise now, and the guy is targeting us if the vision is anything to go by. Plus there are more practical things to consider, apparently.
Well, like someone pointed out, we can't keep wasting money buying new clothes.
I am not risking my life getting in there to rescue your socks.
It's my better bra, actually. This new one sucks.
Still not interested. In fact, I'm somehow even less inclined now.
So, with a goal in mind, we're going to head in the complete opposite direction. See, here's a completely optional thing that you can do. You can take Ashley back to the cultist hideout. You can get Andrew some coffee and learn some terrible, terrible information about a summer job he did. Boy, I bet this'll upset the casserole person, won't it?
You're the kind of person who'd eat other people's lunches, huh?
I'm the kind of person who eats other people.
Oh, you're terrible.
Just to add insult to injury, Andrew, never having once claimed to not be a hypocrite, washes the mug using someone else's detergent. See, this is why you have communal supplies. Also, Ashley apparently spat in the coffee. Charming. So, why are we even here? Because you can actually attempt to summon the demon that the cultists were trying to. Since Ashley did it so well the first time, it stands to reason that she may be able to summon something this time, right? So, that devious cultist who secretly ate the cake when we were sneaking in here earlier is the last one here, and Andrew manages to trick him into letting us go into the lair by posing as members of the catering company investigating a complaint. This guy isn't super bright. We can have a wander around, and if we go into the side here, we can find some cash. Andrew ends up splitting it with Ashley.
Why not? At this point, all our finances are shared anyway.
Yay! Thanks, Daddy.
God, you're so one note.
Holy shit.
That note is off key.
Aw, I know you love me.
Less every day. No. Scratch that.
Well, I'm glad you got that out of your system.
Woman, I just gave you a small fortune. That fact should speak for itself.
Anyway, Andrew thinks that if they summon the demon, they could ask it to get rid of the guy in their motel room, which isn't too bad of an idea, actually. Now we just need someone to offer to the demon. So they rope the cultist into helping them with the lie that all sins are forgiven if you offer the demon your blood. Andrew's, what, 3 for 3 on blatant lies in this chapter at this point? With that sorted, they perform the ritual.
Come on out! Come on out!
Come out, come out!
Come out and don't kill me or her. Not the third guy's fine, though.
Blimey, O'Reilly, he's a big bugger, isn't he? Doesn't accomplish anything, though. No matter what Ashley or the cultists say, they can't actually hear it, and so, with no way to communicate, the entity leaves. It doesn't even take up Ashley's offer to take the cultist's soul. Needless to say, the cultist isn't particularly happy about her having made such a move.
You bitch!
What was that?
Yeah, you watch your mouth, bitch. There's 2 of us and 1 of you.
We're both horrible. No wonder Lord Unknown just up and left.
Because as we all know, demons hate horribleness.
What is this guy, an idiot?
Did you just now figure that out? You idiot.
Hey! Takes 1 to know 1, idiot!
Who's an idiot?
Ask the idiot.
And after a few minutes of who's the idiot, Andrew and Ashley leave, amusingly getting the cultists to actually unlock the lift before they go. They're really just tormenting the guy at this point.
Well, we didn't make any friends. Demons or otherwise.
Good. Now you can focus on what's in front of you. Ta-da! It's me!
Uh-huh.
So that's twice we've gotten a demon to show up, when an entire cult wasn't able to. Andrew speculates that there must be something special about Ashley, but that doesn't change the fact that this was a complete and total bust. Guess that means we're gonna have to deal with our would-be assassin the old-fashioned way. Physical violence! So, heading back to the room, the 2 of them briefly argue about how this is possibly the stupidest thing that they've done yet. Ashley thinks that shooting fireworks off indoors was stupider, and Andrew points out that that was also her idea. And apparently Ashley was 12, and Andrew should have stopped her. And Andrew asks if he should stop her now, to which she says, no, shut up, follow her lead.
You are Ashley!
Ashley's plan is to go in, pretend to forget something, to lure the assassin out, and then jump him in the nearby park. She's basing this entire plan on the idea that the assassin won't just axe them the second that they step through the front door, because what she would do is wait until they went to sleep and do the deed then. She's also assuming that the guy wants to do this quietly, and she's basing that on the fact that he has a knife, so there's that apparently. Alright, this seems like a poorly thought out idea, but sure, let's see how this goes.
No one has stepped forth to kill you yet.
Oh gosh, jolly Andrew! I just realized our impromptu night walk to the store has left me parched!
Is that so?
let us return to the gas stop at once. And since we want to be oh so quick about it, let's take a shortcut through the park, where we may frolic amongst the foliage shielded from sight. How's that sound? Ha!
Terrific. Let's go.
Okay, of these two, Andrew is definitely my favorite. His deadpan absolute lack of tolerance for any of this is incredibly funny to me. Okay, we're in a room with a professional assassin hunting us down. What do I do? What do I do? Instincts. Instincts bad. Or good, depending on your perspective. Because this gets both of these miserable buggers finally getting sent to... Well, I was going to say live up to their name, but living is kind of the exact opposite of what happened.
Well, congratulations! You have found the hitman! And died, which is the best part. For the record, Andrew doesn't fare much better. When it comes to cutting people up, the hitman whoops his amateur ass dead. Though, given his romantic streak, he probably didn't want to live without you anyway. Aw, bet you'd be happy about that, if you weren't too fucking dead to feel anything. The hitman wins, and... Ah yes, the world is much better off without you.
Hey, the game said it, not me.
However...
Oh no.
This is also anticlimactic that you get a free do-over.
Damn it! Okay, so, doing the opposite of what my instincts tell me this time, we ignore our curiosity, head in, grab our stuff, and then book it into the nearby park to set up an ambush. Ashley pushes the gun into Andrew's hands, making him do all the dirty work yet again. However, these plans go awry as the assassin stops following them, seeming to set up their own ambush, and they can't go out looking for him, not without letting him know that we're onto him. So Ashley gets an idea into her head.
Oh, you dirty boy! No, we can't do it here! Off we go! Come and find me!
I don't want to!
The audacity of this bitch.
You are Andrew.
So I guess we're looking for this dullard now. No, there she is. And she tells him to sod off and to keep looking, and oh, hello there. Two options, shoot or shoot! Alright, so I'm gonna be honest. I did this on the assumption it would use up all of the bullets in the gun, and I did that pretty much exclusively because I do not want Ashley rocking a loaded gun. She's prone to doing utterly insane things like whatever that was, and I do not want her having a loaded firearm with which to do it. And if I get my way, I don't want her having any weapons to defend herself with. Maybe I'll get lucky and she'll get mauled by a bear or something. Still, the hitman is no longer with us. Apparently, that whole escapade was part of Ashley's plan to give Andrew an excuse to wander around to find the hitman without alerting said hitman that they were onto him, thus stopping said hitman from counter-ambushing them.
I am a bloody genius.
You are Ashley!
Ashley loots the corpse. Haha, he's dead! Bastion of sanity as always, Ashley, and finds his keys, so we take them and the hitman's car.
Oh yeah, baby, leave those fingerprints all over that guy. That's just great.
Oh, I'm sorry, Andrew. You got any better ideas? Because you're keeping real quiet about him if you do, buddy. You're not making much of an effort to stop her either, are you? I mean, sure, we could just leave them and then get away from this city on foot, and that drastically reduces any risk of us being uncovered. But checking this guy isn't exactly a bad idea. Maybe we can get some information on what the heck is going on, and Ashley hasn't had any fingerprints taken, whereas Andrew has, so the risk of forensic evidence is minimal so long as they're careful. Plus car keys. We can take his car. It'll save money on travel, if only for a bit, and we're already low on cash. It'll help us put some distance between them and this whole escapade anyway. At this point, what's one more crime on top of everything else? I mean, taking out the hitman seems like the least bad crime so far. That one was unambiguously self-defense, so, like, yeah, I mean, taking his car is still illegal, but we're kind of past that point already. Still kind of feels like they should have talked their options through first, though, doesn't it? Gotten some gloves or something? Then again, Ashley hasn't had her fingerprints taken. Whatever. It's not like this is even the most impulsive thing Ashley has done in the last, I want to say 3 minutes? Inside the car, we find a letter talking about laundry, which is a thinly veiled euphemism for the two of them. The letter mentions that as a bonus for the hitman's work, they're including samples of new soda flavors from, quote, our sister company. So that tells us that A, we're being hunted down by a company of some sort, and B, that their sister company is a soda company of some description that is releasing new flavors. Hey now, doesn't that sound exactly like the advertisement for the apple cinnamon whatever the hell Andrew got for Ashley? Come to think of it, I remember the advertisements on the TV back in the hotel room being for a company releasing a bunch of new flavors. Toxisoda, you may recall. So it might just be me, but between Toxisoda releasing new flavors and the people who are hiring this hitman giving them a bonus in the form of a sister company's new soda flavors, which as an aside is the most hilariously terrible bonus I can conceive of for a hired assassin, that is cheap as hell. I feel like we can conclude that Toxisoda is at least peripherally involved in all of this. Also, jumping ahead a little, Chapter 3 explicitly confirms this, so, we have that. See, there was a reason why I showed you the TV ads. I was going somewhere with that. That wasn't me just wasting time. I don't really see much of a point in hiding that, so let's just get it out of the way. Andrew puts it all together. The sister company of Toxisoda is the company that provided water for their apartment complex. Brown Water Co., which is the most disgusting name for a water company I can think of, but then again, the soda company is called Toxisoda, so I shouldn't be surprised. But back to the letters though, just to make sure we're all on the same page here. Andrew and Ashley are being hunted down by the water company that just flat out lied about parasites in the water supply in order to run an organ harvesting ring. Evidently, they figured out that Andrew and Ashley escaped, want them silenced, burned down the apartments to cover their tracks, and sent a hitman after the pair of them. How fun! Yeah, how's that whole everyone will just assume they died in the apartment fire line of logic going, Ashley? Alas, the universe conspires to give Ashley a win no matter what. So, they include in the letter that they don't want any status updates, and that they're just going to assume, perhaps quite reasonably, that the professional assassin is going to be able to take out two scrawny, early 20-year-old untrained civilians without any difficulties. The less they know, the better, apparently. So as far as they're concerned, that's the end of that. Andrew and Ashley are no longer factors worth considering. Lucky for them, I suppose. If they keep their heads down and don't alert anyone to the fact that they are, to my chagrin, still alive, then they might actually be able to get out of this. Might seem like an incredibly idiotic and short-sighted move on the part of their pursuers to just not request updates on if the job is complete or not, and yeah, it kind of is. But being totally fair to them, we have the benefit of Ashley's trinket showing us visions of the future. We've seen that without that, the hitman absolutely would have gotten them, and that would have been that. Heck, just hiding in the closet gave this guy the advantage he needed to get them both. He didn't even need them to be asleep, he just needed them to be caught slightly by surprise. Not even total surprise either, since they knew that he was in the room. Just getting jumped before they were ready was enough. My point being that all things even, this would have been a one-sided slaughter if not for the trinket. I don't know why anyone would reasonably assume these two runaways can probably see the future via demonic means, so fair enough, I suppose. Still short-sighted, but if they had targeted virtually anyone else on the planet, it probably would have been fine for them. Although, while we're on the subject of the clairvoyant trinket, it all working out this way has made it clear that we're operating on the future can be changed rules. Visions are not prophecies here. Whatever you see in a vision, it is far from set in stone. It can come true, but actions can 100% be taken to avoid those outcomes, and thank God for that. I very much dislike predeterminism. Like, conceptually. So, I guess that's something to bear in mind whenever we next see a vision. It's just one potential future, not an absolute guarantee. Anyway, back to the getting away with crimes thing. For whatever reason, Ashley decides that the best course of action here is to go to their parents' place and—
For fuck's sake! Does everything I say just go in one ear and out the other? We're never going to talk to anyone we know ever again, remember?
Did I say squat about talking to her? Let's go rob the bitch blind and leave.
See, I don't know about you, but I'm detecting a mild trace of hostility towards their parents. Andrew points out that that's a terrible idea, since A, they have active pursuers, B, their parents' place is certainly somewhere that they've looked into, and C, even if points 1 and 2 weren't an issue, driving around in a stolen, dead man's car isn't an ideal situation, least of all to go to their parents' place, especially since, according to Andrew, their folks wouldn't have a ton of money to even steal in the first place. It's just too large a risk for very little potential gain. So now they argue about it.
Listen, Andy.
Wrong!
Andrew, the pursuer is taking a nap in the park right now. Do you honestly think you're anywhere near important enough for someone to hire too? If anything, it seems they assume that guy took care of us, and that's that.
But the thing is, I'd rather be overly cautious than dead.
Ashley says they'll be quick. They'll go in, rob their parents, kill them, and wait, so now she wants to add killing them onto the list. According to Ashley, they can't talk to them anyway, so they might as well be dead. And the way Ashley's mind works is certainly an enigma for now, isn't it? After another brief argument in which she drops the homicide and just settles on robbing the place, Andrew relents. Because of course he does.
Where do they live now anyway?
I know the place, but I don't remember the exact address.
She actually told you the address?
Yeah.
The only thing she told me was to stop calling her.
Well, she probably figured I'd tell you then.
What a sloppy job you did.
Oh, do forgive me, Ashley. It didn't seem like relevant information at the time.
Whatever, just drive.
And with that, we have a proper goal in mind. And with a proper goal in mind, they make their way there promptly without any kind of drama, and oh, who am I kidding, they can't even set off without starting another argument.
I haven't driven a car in over 2 years.
Will we be fine?
Just don't distract me with anything.
Okie dokie.
Feet on the floor, Ashley!
My god, it's not even your car!
Just shut up and put your seatbelt on.
Oh, this sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. Now hurry up. I'll be goddamned if we get caught in a dead man's car just because we got pulled over for some stupid shit.
Make me then.
Do you, or do you not, want to go rob our parents?
I said make me. Andy?
Okay, what do you want? If it's to piss me off, then you're nailing it right now.
Oh, come on. It's just a joke.
I know it's not a joke!
Yeah, it is. You get so mad. It's just funny.
Like, I don't know you, Ashley. You've pulled this shit before.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you'll keep going, Andy, until I get tired of correcting you, and suddenly it's Andy and Leyley and some stupid bullshit all over again.
Way to read into it. I was honestly just joking around.
Well, then it's not funny, and you're going to stop.
Nothing's funny to you anymore. Well, are you gonna drive or what?
Just don't want us to get in trouble.
You don't have to be such a hard ass about it.
I do, though, when you're such a dumbass about it.
Just drive.
Are you angry? I'm looking out for us.
Fucking drive, Andy! Drive, Andrew. And so he does. Finally.
You know what? I think I've just decided. Clearly, these two being around one another is just a recipe for disaster. If it is within my power, I am going to do everything that I can to make these two fundamentally hate one another and get them as far away from one another as I physically can. That being said, a pattern is beginning to emerge with these two, and I think Ashley is starting to notice it as well. Anyway, now that we've finished wandering around this first area of the chapter, before we move on to the next, I'd like to take a look at the environment. This is where the game is starting to put in hidden details into the overworld. Kind of like finding that money back in the cultist hideout. That was a hidden detail within a hidden detail that you were just never told about. It's just on you to have the presence of mind to think to go and look over there. They're small things, never anything that is fundamentally necessary to understanding what's going on. Some of them can change and influence how you interpret a scenario, but they're not something that if you miss, you're just not going to comprehend what's going on story-wise. You can go through this entire game, never finding any of these, and you're still going to be able to make sense of everything. Sometimes they're used to fill in small gaps in the narrative. Like, there's this book in the same room where you can find the money in the cultist lair. It's the same kind of book that the neighbor was using back in the apartment complex. So you may think that finding someone who seems to understand demons might be helpful for these two. If they had a name, then that would go a long way towards finding someone who can actually help them. But the author goes unlisted. Neither of them can really ask anyone who the author is though. That might look suspect to any of the cultists, anyone not in the cult wouldn't know, but the copy of the book in the lair is signed, so problem solved, right? Except it's ineligible. The signature is impossible to figure out, so much for that plan. but it does give us the hint that the person is connected to the cult. So that's an avenue that they could go down if they wanted. And it does give us a reason as to why they can't pursue that particular line of logic at this particular juncture. Plus, they help give the overworld more of a reason to exist. What exactly is the point of all of these environments if there's nothing actually in them? From this chapter onwards, the overworld is used for more than just having an environment for our two main leads to run around in. It does multiple things to aid the plot as well as demonstrate characters. Heck, by the time we get to chapter 3, there are going to be endings outright blocked unless you go running around the environments for a bit. Chapter 1 did this a bit, but it didn't really have a ton of room to make this work as well. It was confined to an apartment complex in which the movement of the characters was already severely limited. There's only really so much you can do in such a limited space. Episode 2, meanwhile, is built around these things being rewards for exploring. There are more open areas, entirely optional sequences, and there's more going on that makes backtracking interesting. It just helps to make the Coffin feel more like a world and a sequence of events happening at you like other visual novels can that don't have other gameplay mechanics or explorable worlds. And it's going to become more of an important part of things going forwards. So, following their argument, Ashley decides to give Andrew the silent treatment until he apologizes. What for exactly is a question she's not entirely sure about herself, but she isn't going to forgive Andrew until he does apologize. This is abuser logic, I just want that known. This is the mentality of an abusive person, which paints Ashley in just the loveliest of lights, doesn't it? I mean, more so than she's already been painted in that light. So, while she's being the worst, she ends up falling asleep, and has a dream of a sort.
What the? You're pretty sure you're dreaming, but at the same time you feel wide awake.
Well, this is new. The dream consists of this strange, weird, nonsensical landscape where flower petals floating in the air above an endless void make up pathways, where everything is in a red hue, and Ashley keeps occasionally hearing voices that she can't quite make out. These flower petal pathways, they can be built upon, and by getting nearby red flowers, their petals can be added to fill in the gaps, to fix old roots, or to create new ones. Doing this gets us to a new area where we can hear more of the voices.
Torso summoned you to can't tune in.
What? You're all muffled. I can't hear anything. The voice continues talking, but you can't make heads or tails of it.
You'd think that Ashley would be a bit more concerned about hearing random voices in this abyssal nightmare, but apparently not. Clearly the traditional laws of physics aren't at play here, and neither are Euclidean directions as we would understand them. Going down certain paths takes you to another path on the opposite end. Going down the right side exit path just takes you to the left entrance you came in from, but going down that same left side entrance path takes you to another, different path on the right on an isolated section. Really, it's dream logic. But there is a consistency to it that you can figure out through a bit of trial and error. It's not all that difficult. And hey, that happy little accident and going left and ending up with the isolated bit of pathway is actually the key to getting out of here. We get some petals, we head on down to the next area. Oh, hello there. Turns out this isn't a dream. Exactly. It is, but it isn't. It's something of an actual place of sorts, a sort of void between realms, we learn. Physically, Ashley's still in the car with Andrew, but her mind and soul are now here, in this place. The demon offers to make her a deal. The trinket that allowed Ashley to see the future was useful to be sure, but now it's out of charge. It only gets so many uses, and once those charges are used up, it needs to be recharged. How does one charge it up, you ask? By sacrificing souls to the demon, of course. Being unable to enter the human realm unsummoned, the demon can't just do this by themselves. So, in exchange for Ashley sacrificing human souls to it, it will recharge the trinket and allow her to see into the future again, further necessitating that we inflict grievous harm upon our fellow man. Just so happens that we're also going to their parents' place, so guess who she's thinking of when she says she's got some people in mind for sacrifice? So Ashley agrees to the demon's terms. In doing so, she also mentions that something is changing with Andrew. She's not sure, but something is shifting. Something she doesn't like.
The demon couldn't care less about the lover spat you're having with your brother.
But please do not call it that. Anyway, it turns out we can't just wake up by will. We have to do some cryptic mind returning home, I don't know, thing. And the demon just leaves us to it. So let's do that, I guess. We navigate our way through this trippy landscape, and again, it doesn't take a whole lot of figuring out, honestly. And believe it or not, it being fairly easy is actually something that the narrative incorporates later down the line. In Chapter 3, we're able to solve a series of puzzles that seemingly make no amount of sense, kind of like the pathways we're on now. Like, there's this one in particular that involves making a trinket like the one that Ashley has to put inside a physical glass orb to lock a door, and this somehow creates enough weight to prevent someone from escaping. We're given some pretty easy to connect the dots to figure out the answer dialogue as we go about this, mostly by way of Ashley and the demon talking, and the demon takes note that Ashley is well attuned to this entire reality. It just clicks for her. Which is a neat way of explaining how what we're doing in-game isn't all that complex. You are Ashley after all, and this whole thing just makes sense to her. When Andrew gets thrown in here, the puzzles he gets are often a bit harder, and he's a lot more apprehensive about what the heck he's dealing with. Things Ashley does, like walking on flower petal pathways, suspended above an endless void, are things that he's going to do a double take with, and the answers aren't as easily given to him. You're going to end up doing a lot more trial and error with Andrew than you do with Ashley. But when it comes to the human world, Andrew's often the one taking the lead. Ashley's tendency to just do off-the-wall unhinged crap there tends to get them in trouble, whereas Andrew's thinking things through thought processes work better there. And it's where you're more likely to be able to figure things out using traditional logic, so you just need some vague direction and boom, there you go. There's a small bit of narrative and character weaving into game design that I really like, and it's an example of how this game uses every tool at its disposal. It knows it's not all that complex from a design perspective or challenging from a game perspective, and that some of these puzzle solutions wouldn't make sense to anyone with a normal functioning brain. So it takes those weaknesses and works them into actual points that are worth considering in relation to its two main leads. It makes the weird, esoteric nonsense you're doing, and makes Ashley's ability to comprehend it a character trait. But anyway, upon completing this, we end up at a pair of doors. Going through the one on the right takes you to whatever the heck this is. Apparently a gateway to the demon's realm, which is not where we're going, so the demon warps us out of here. If you go through the door on the left, you get a different pathway, which has a puzzle that you can optionally complete. By getting as many flowers as you can cross a small gap to find a present. Inside it is a lemon muffin, reportedly disguised as a birthday cake. And this sends Ashley into a small, apparently nostalgic flashback, as she will call them at the end of it, the good old bad times. We get cut back to when the pair of them were kids, and Leyley's got a birthday card in her hands, though she doesn't seem too pleased about it. When Andy returns, she mentions that it's from her teacher. Nothing special, it's something that they do for everyone on their birthday. We also get the revelation that whenever it's Andy's birthday, he seems to get an actual, birthday. He gets to have friends over and that kind of thing. Leyley, on the other hand, suddenly, they can't afford anything. And even if she did get one though, according to her, it wouldn't matter. She says that whenever she asks, her friends always seem to have something going on, even when she hasn't given them a date yet. This is pretty interesting information to consider if you combine it with their parents no longer answering her calls back at the apartment, isn't it? Not to mention that her friends don't really sound like they even like her all that much. Which, given Ashley's general disposition, it isn't exactly difficult to understand, but still. Andy takes her to go and get her a birthday cake with his own pocket money, realizes that that's a bit out of his wheelhouse, and ends up getting a pack of lemon muffins instead, and agrees to watch a horrifically violent movie that Leyley likes, specifically because she isn't allowed to watch it. It's actually a kind of genuinely sweet scene. They're both joking around, Andy's going out of his way to try and lift up Leyley's spirits, and Leyley's actually meeting him halfway and just kind of happy to have him around. The dialogue's amusing because Andy got her the lemon cupcakes that she's not as keen on, but she accepted them because she thought that Andy liked them, but Andy only got them because he thought that Leyley liked them, and he was pretending to like them so that she could keep playing coy. It's nice.
Thanks, Andy. You're my favorite lemon muffin.
So you pretend to like me. Nice.
Now, when it comes to Ashley, I've been quite mean to her so far, but with this, to an extent, I do sympathize. Maybe there's some redeeming qualities Leyley has buried deep down.
Wish for something.
I wish my brother loses all his friends and never finds love.
Wow. Thanks?
You're welcome.
Sorry, what? Back in the not quite so really real world, Ashley goes through the nearby door and ends up at a flower bed. And she is not pleased about this.
Good God, I'm so sick of these fucking flowers.
Ashley?
Auntie, is that you? Help, get me out of this shithole!
Oh, wake up. It's not funny.
I'm trying, jackass! Do something! Help me!
Oh, thank God.
While she's been in this dreamscape, the pair of them have arrived near where their folks' new place is. Apparently, Andrew's been trying to wake her up for a while now, and there is genuine relief on his face when she finally does wake up. He was on the verge of taking her to a hospital. Consequences be damned.
What time is it?
I'm 10 in the morning, I think. Mom and Dad should both be at work right now. So, whenever you're ready, I guess.
You're only being nice now because you treated me like shit last night.
I treated you the way you deserve to be treated. Or, actually, no, scratch that. Considering you kept pushing me around all day, I think I was pretty fucking lenient with you. So anyway, this episode is titled Andrew and Ashley and the Home Sweet Home Invasion.
What kind of knockoff cash grab show is that? I'm not interested.
Well, it's definitely all about cash grabbing.
I mean, boo! No thank you!
No, I saw that. You're into it. Let's go.
No, it sucks!
They really do jump between moments of absolute hostility and moments of genuine affection. Like it's immediate. One moment they're at each other's throats, and the next it's like it never even happened. Did you notice how Ashley tried guilt-tripping Andrew here as well? She did the same thing with the silent treatment before she fell asleep, and it's something that she's been doing since they were kids. The way he treated her, just leaving out how she treated him, as if she hasn't been overstepping the boundaries he's been trying to establish and egging him on this entire time. Reminds me of her "oh, you don't have to be a hard-ass" comment before they started driving. She keeps doing everything in her power to get on his nerves. He finally snaps and tells her to pack it in, and then suddenly he's the one who's at fault for escalating the situation. It's not her fault for starting it. She's blameless. How else am I meant to take this other than the idea that Ashley is doing this on purpose? There's only so many times you can see this kind of thing happen before you start noticing a pattern starts to emerge. And that pattern is abusive. I cannot stress enough that this is an abusive pathology to have. Although speaking of patterns, here's another one for you. Andrew didn't back down this time, and Ashley didn't actually have anything to say in response to it. She just sort of quietly backed down. And this has happened a few times now. Let's take stock of when it's happened before. It happened once, arguably twice, back in the apartment complex. The obvious one is when Andrew choked her after she attacked him. After Andrew's comment that she's the reason he can't sleep, she backed down. That entire scene carried on for as long as it did because Andrew was the one who wasn't letting her go. The second is back in the motel room, where Andrew grabs her by the head and basically dares her to keep trying her luck. They got interrupted by the news before we could see how that would have played out, but Ashley's expression is similar to the one that she had after Andrew axed the guard in the apartment complex. A third was in the car, after Andrew called Ashley out on her repeated attempts to normalize Andy and Leyley, culminating when they stared each other down and Ashley backed off. And the fourth time was right here. The potential, more subtle fifth time was back in the apartment complex after Andrew took out the guard that found her in the cultist's closet. She jokes about him not being able to sleep after that, he snaps at her, and she just instantly drops it. Is that another example, perhaps? I'm going to count it myself, but even if you don't, it doesn't change the calculations here. When it comes to noticing patterns in something, I tend to operate on the rule of 3. One time being nothing worth mentioning, twice might just be a coincidence. 3 times, now a pattern is starting to emerge. And here, depending on your definition or how charitable you're feeling, we're now at 4 at a minimum, and maybe 5 times that this has happened. Essentially, every time that Andrew plants his feet in the ground and doesn't let Ashley push him around, it doesn't take much for Ashley to be the one to back down. Which feels like it ties into the Andy and Leyley thing, doesn't it? And that's been coming up a lot more often as well, and has played a role in most of these major incidents in one way or another. It's been a major part of at least 3 of these arguments. Within their dynamic, it's not unreasonable to say that Andrew is more of a pushover in a lot of ways. He rarely does assert himself, and a lot of the time he is quick to back down. But in these moments where he is asserting himself, Ashley kind of panics, for the lack of a better word. She freaks out, seems to freeze up, like she is just not at all used to Andrew actually standing his ground. But as Andrew points out, Ashley keeps trying to push the Andy thing. She keeps trying to get him to just let her call him that. She did it at the apartment, only stopping after Andrew physically wrapped his hands around her throat. She did it back at the motel, goading him into it until he snapped, and she's kept trying to real subtle like sneak it back in throughout this chapter. Multiple times. Whenever she gets the chance, really. Back in the cultist lair, Andrew called Ashley Leigh because he didn't want to use her real name in front of any witnesses. And to Ashley, that was good enough, but Andrew very quickly shot that down. Ashley's response was that he'll come around eventually, and she can wait. Heck, she tried it twice in the car alone, when she was taunting him and screwing around, and then once again after she started sulking before they set off. She keeps trying this at every opportunity. Andrew says it's her trying to just wear him down into accepting it, and seems to think that if he wasn't constantly shooting that down, they would absolutely be back in the Andy and Leyley routine. With Andrew, the specifics aren't super clear, but he said that he finds Andy to be spineless, and that bothers him. If we look back on Chapter 1's flashback, Andy does let Leyley push him around a lot, and he'll usually give in to her demands. So when he says that he doesn't want to be Andy anymore, we can conclude that that is what he means. He isn't going to just let Ashley dictate things to him anymore. If we acknowledge this, then we can extrapolate a little bit further, and acknowledge something else. That Andy and Leyley isn't just a case of nicknames between the two of them, whatever Ashley says about the subject. It very much reflects the dynamic between the two of them. Note the wording here. Andrew says he isn't going to be Andy anymore. He's making it clear that he isn't going to go along with the dynamic that the two of them had in the past. That same dynamic, I'll remind you, that got someone killed. This is why he keeps rejecting the nickname and why he has such an aversion to it. Ashley keeps trying to bring it back though, against Andrew's explicit wishes over and over again. It really starts to come across as Ashley constantly attempting to bring back Andy and Leyley as a way for her to re-establish the dominant role in their dynamic. Like if Andrew accepts Andy and Leyley, he'll just accept Ashley being the one to call the shots. But there's more to it than that. And you're going to want to get used to hearing that, by the way, because there is more to it than that. But speaking of getting back to things, these two, they have decided that it's time to get out of the car, find their parents' house, and loot the place. So where are we exactly?
Welcome to the Bumfuck Nowhere National Park.
Oh, hell yeah, I love bumfuck. Let's not say that, actually. Moving swiftly on. Taking a look around, the new neighborhood their parents have moved into is actually quite pleasant, to the point where Ashley is in disbelief that they would be able to move somewhere this nice. I mean, I guess in comparison to the apartment complex they were in before, it's not as horrible, but to me this just looks like a miserable suburban sprawl. Deploy napalm, cleanse it with unholy flame. Next to the ugly Van McHidiouses, and opposite the Shitsons, who for the record sound just lovely, they find the home of Mr. and Mrs. Graves. Fun fact, by the way, this is actually where the game first reveals that their last name is Graves. Ashley asks Andrew which last name he thinks that they used, because she's getting the vibe that they might have changed which last name they use to try and throw them off, which is a curious theory. Andrew boosts Ashley in via a window. She unlocks the door to let him in, only after getting him to praise her.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Not so fast. Now what do we say?
Thank you very much.
Wrong. Try again.
exceptionally well done. That was an earth-shattering performance.
Yes!
To think you'd open a door so swiftly and with such grace. Stunning, marvelous, breathtaking. These are but a few words I'd use to describe your ability to trespass. May I come in now?
You may.
Great. Then let's split up. I want to get out of here as fast as possible.
Hey, there was something I was wondering about.
Right now, can it wait? Our situation is kind of time-sensitive.
Well, it can, I guess.
Good. Then tell me later.
Fantastic. So, taking stock of the place, it turns out it's significantly bigger and a hell of a lot nicer than the apartment complex. There's even a fireplace in the garden, and to Ashley, these are borderline unthinkable levels of wealth. Andrew comments on it not being super uncommon to have these things, especially not in older houses, which, yeah, that's true, but I do find Ashley's reaction interesting nonetheless. Their folks are supposedly at work, so the plan is to grab anything valuable that isn't nailed to the floor and just book it before anyone shows up. Having a look around, we find some family photos, if you can call them that. Apparently, they didn't have any photos back on display at the apartment, but now that their parents are putting them up, curiously, there aren't any pictures with the siblings in them. Ashley does find a picture in a drawer though, something she drew at daycare, and the photo taken not long after her birth. Notably, Andrew isn't in it. Ashley's conclusion is that this is sympathy baiting. Their kids died in a fire, woe is me, etc, etc. It's another curious theory from her. We also find a bunch of appliances that weren't present at the apartment. Money is noted as no longer being an issue here. They even have an extra bed in the basement, for some reason. There's also a lot of uncomfortable clothing and, let's use the word toys in the closets. You know what? I think I'm just going to choose not to question why they have an extra bed in the basement and 2 chairs in the bedroom. I have decided that I do not want to think about the potential implications I don't want to think about the potential of the cuck chair, thank you very much. More importantly though, and arguably less disturbingly, we also find a couple of interesting documents regarding compensation due to damages caused by, quote, company error, and also a couple of death certificates. Turned out, Andrew and Ashley died 3 months ago, when that whole quarantine business began. In the game's own words, the human race is better off without them, which is a shame because they are still very much alive, and now they have questions about what their parents are doing having these on hand. And it's at that moment that their mother walks into the house.
Oh shit! Isn't this too early? They shouldn't be home yet!
You consider shooting whoever just walked in, but since you can't offer the souls of the already dead, you hold off on that idea. Is someone there?
Hi, Mom! It's just us! Welcome home!
Andrew?
Hello, you. Just to get this out of the way real quick, her name is Renee. I think. It might also be Renee. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know. There's a bit in episode 3 where she goes on a tirade about someone getting her name wrong, and the incorrect spelling is shown to be written with the accent, and her name doesn't have that accent over the E. But I've never heard of this name pronounced any way other than Renee, so I have no idea how to pronounce this. And again, I once knew a bloke with this as their first name, and that turned out to be pronounced Shay. And then again, he was Irish, and the name was Gaelic, and Gaelic is renowned for being tricky to non-natives, but the point remains that names are weird. Whatever the case may be, I'm going to go ahead and keep calling her Renee, entirely because I think that would piss her off, and that amuses me, because I hate her, because the picture we have painted so far does not portray her in a particularly positive light, but I'll spell that out later. For his part, Andrew quickly pretends that we're just here for a visit.
A surprise! We came for a visit.
Oh, I see. How are you home so early? Did you get fired? It's my day off. I was just out shopping. How did you two get inside?
You left the door unlocked. You should really be more careful about that.
Did I really?
Here, let me help you with those groceries.
Thanks. You should have let me know you were coming.
How about some coffee? Where do you keep the grounds?
In the top cupboard, but what about the quarantine?
Any milk in yours?
Sure, let me just go wash my face. What the hell are you doing?
Just play along for now, please.
Guess I'll make some coffee.
Well, so much for going unnoticed. Ah well, since we've already been found out anyway, we might as well pester the mother some. What does she have to say to her daughter?
Hi, sweetheart. Why did you stop answering my calls? Ashley, I can't spend my entire life listening to you complain. The least you could have done was send us some dry food or something. What for? You were taken care of. You're still spitting that bullshit? Shouldn't you be bothering Andrew by now? At least he gives a shit. Cry about it.
Oh, nice.
Your mom's purse. Got a bit of cash. It's nowhere near enough for you.
So, we make some coffee and sit down to have a nice, long, lovely conversation devoid of any conflict whatsoever.
So, I saw the fire on the news. What happened? What do you care?
This sequence is what I like to call, in my humble, fair, professional, and objective opinion, very funny. But it's also very telling, too, especially when you have the power of hindsight working for you. Since we're playing as Ashley, we see much of this from her perspective, and from that perspective, most of this entire exchange is meaningless chit-chat, and she just stops paying attention after a while. So most of what we see is from the beginning of the conversation. What's so entertaining about this whole situation to me is the fact that if you use your head for even a single fractal of a second, it becomes abundantly obvious that literally everyone here is lying about something. And everyone is fully aware of this fact, but no one can call the other out without it descending into an absolute shit show. Let's start off with the perfectly obvious. Andrew and Ashley, or well, mostly Andrew specifically, are lying about how they got here and why they're even here in the first place. He tells their mother that they all got evacuated and then declared parasite-free. We've been following them, we know damn well that's not what went down, but like, what are they gonna say to their mother exactly? So, first we murdered our way out. Yeah, that'd go well. On top of that, during their previous phone calls and the conversation they just had, their mother says that she thought that they were both being fed and taken care of, and she doesn't believe Ashley when she tells them what was really going on. Going into that whole debate again would be pointless at best. So, we know why they are lying. Renee, on the other hand... What's up with the death certificates, Renee? We know that the lockdown in the apartment started around 3 months ago. The death certificates for Andrew and Ashley are also dated 3 months ago, so presumably near the start of the lockdown. And there are references to their mother calling the apartment between the start of the lockdown, their supposed deaths, and this here coffee sequence. Even though she stopped, she would still answer phone calls from Ashley until she eventually just outright refused to pick up the phone anymore. So there's a bit of a contradiction here, isn't there? Why was she calling them if she thought that they were dead? That's a little bit suspect, isn't it? When Andrew asks where they got the money for a place like this, Renee goes on about the place needing some work but it all being worth it in the end. And Andrew notes that that's a perfect non-answer. Renee goes on and tells them that both her and their father are well integrated into the neighborhood via barbecue parties and such. According to her, they're well liked around here. They both mock Ashley's cooking abilities, after which Ashley just sort of tunes out and doesn't contribute much of anything to the conversation. A, because Andrew is lying so frequently that she can't keep track of them, and B, because she has nothing to say to her mother either way. Hey, after that conversation in the basement, it kinda seems that their mother had nothing to say to her daughter, so that seems mutual at least. Ashley is kind of the most honest person in this entire situation, weird enough as that is to say. When she does interact, she doesn't bat around the bush, she just is straightforward and to the point, and when she isn't engaging, she's mostly silent while Andrew and Renee do this whole song and dance around each other. Eventually, Renee says that she has to get dinner going, which Ashley notes is her way of telling them both to get lost, but Andrew says that he'll handle cooking, seemingly as a way to stick around and figure things out. Since their mother can't really say, no, screw off, to that without things escalating, she has to just accept this and leaves the room. So she just doesn't bring up the death certificates at all, which makes one think that she's hiding them, doesn't it? If she's genuinely surprised by them being here, shouldn't she have brought them up? Like, I thought you were dead, they sent me death certificates and everything. Instead, she doesn't mention them at all. Why do that if not to hide the fact that you've got them? Assuming that's the case though, it was reported on the news that their old place burned to the ground, and the news report said everyone died. In the same vein as Andrew's lie about being let out, what exactly is Renee gonna say here? Like, what would be the play here? No, you're dead, actually. Kind of hard to do that when they're both right in front of her, isn't it? Those death certificates are how we know that their mother is lying through her teeth, and they're also why no one is calling anyone else out. There's basically no way of anyone doing that without this whole facade falling apart, getting completely out of hand, and possibly blowing up in everyone's faces. So they're all lying, all know they're all lying, but also know that they can't call each other out on it, so they have to go through this whole pantomime of nonsense. I mean, come on, look at Renee here. This is not the face of someone who is relieved that their kids are okay, nor is it the face of someone pleasantly surprised. This is Andrew weaving a tale of deceit and Renee simply having no avenue with which to argue against it. Although speaking of which, she is certainly taking the news that the kids she has 3-month-old death certificates for and heard on the news burned to death just yesterday are both alive, well, and in front of her with remarkable grace, isn't she? Actually, thinking about it for a second, you should have let me know you were coming. Did you not think they were dead on account of said death certificates? Dead people don't tend to be good at using phones, Renee. What do you mean they should have let you know?
You are Andrew. Somehow, your burglary attempt ended up with you cooking dinner for your victims. Go ahead then. Make something, you smooth talker, you.
Now, maybe you listened to all of those ramblings about why they're talking around each other and thought to yourself, well, okay, you're just overthinking this. As I am prone to do, admittedly. But if you go into the parents' room, Andrew and Ashley are having a conversation which outright confirms this is the case. So, never question me. But this sequence is really interesting to look at. Andrew and Ashley aren't exactly what I would call simple characters. There's a lot going on behind the eyes of these two, which informs why they do certain things, and this scene is a really interesting example of how their minds work. Now, because I know some of you are going to be clever little fuckwits, without pausing, go ahead and make up a believable fake address by the time I finish this sentence. I'll give you a second, and too late, you've already run out of time. It's that logic that Andrew uses to justify why their mother told them anything at all. You fool, Ashley. You absolute moron. You utter buffoon. You insipid numbskull. You brainless cretin. I might have added those bits myself. To all of this, Ashley says something I find really interesting.
I don't get why you play these games with her.
Huh?
What's so fun about pretending to be a proper family? Just stop. It's exhausting to look at.
It'd just be nice if it was real, that's all. Like, I'm sure she calls you sweetheart because she wishes you were.
God, you both make me sick. Leave me out of this.
So, doesn't that imply that these duplicitous back and forths are a normal part of life for the Graves family? Which raises so many questions about how they all functioned in the past, doesn't it? And it adds a new wrinkle to Ashley as well. Remember how I said that she was the most honest person in that entire coffee sequence? This reinforces that to an extent. Ashley views this situation as completely screwed up, views this entire family as not normal, and isn't willing to just play along with it. Doesn't that feel weird coming from her? Like, this is where she draws the line. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. This whole scene does give me the impression that this was something of a minor plot hole Nemlei didn't notice until all the rest of the chapter had been completed. That entire debate between Doormat and Cannibal was completely optional. You don't get it unless you go back into the parents' room after the coffee scene, and there is absolutely nothing that suggests that you should go there. So it kind of feels like what happened was that Nemlei wrapped up the chapter, and the beta tester went, okay, how exactly did Andrew get the address? That wasn't Renee's greatest move. What possible reason did she have to tell him? You never explained that bit. And then Nemlei just kind of stared at their work and went, oh crap. So then this sequence was added, somewhere where it wouldn't interfere with the rest of the already completed dialogue. My argument for this being the case is this conversation wasn't part of the original release of episode 2. It was part of an update that came out after the fact, called the Cry About It update. And cry about it we most certainly will by the time this is all said and done. Thankfully, it's like what I said before. A lot of this information isn't utterly vital to what's going on. You can get through the story easily enough without ever coming across it. This mostly just serves the purpose of sorting out a potential problem someone particularly observant might have had. It's good that it was added, but its exclusion wasn't making the narrative any more or less coherent. As for how the explanation itself is at resolving that particular plot hole, I think it's relatively solid. See, the story is aware that Renee telling Andrew this at all was not a smart choice. It has a reasonable explanation for why she did it, but it does acknowledge that frankly, doing this at all was idiotic. Assuming that they're right, and Renee truly did want Andrew and Ashley to never find her and her husband, it may not have been the best idea, but if she just hung up during the conversation that she had with Andrew and just hoped that they never found enough information to track her down, that would have been a better plan. And you know, that aside, taking 5 minutes to come up with a fake address just in case would have been a much smarter plan overall. Like, literally any amount of preparation would have been better than the nothing she self-evidently did. It says something about how utterly unprepared Renee was to answer a very basic question that she flubbed it to this degree. How in God's name did she not see a question like that coming? Especially when her opening gambit when leaving them in the apartment complex was, "You can join us later." Did she seriously not expect them to ask? Andrew and Ashley being here at all is pretty much a direct result of Renee being too much of an idiot to do anything but make the stupidest decision possible. Of course, this is all assuming that Renee doesn't have a good explanation for the death certificates. That would explain why she gave the actual address, and maybe Andrew and Ashley are overthinking this. We are playing this from their perspective after all, maybe they are just straight up wrong. Though if they are, it does say a lot about their home life that this was where their minds went. So, Renee, Andrew, you two have anything particularly insightful to say to one another?
Don't you two ever get sick of each other?
All the time.
They say absence makes the heart grow fonder.
The very last thing I need is to grow fonder of that nightmare of a woman.
Cool. I mean, to be fair, I probably wouldn't want to be fond of someone who is this unbothered by all the horrific crap they've pulled so far either. While Andrew gets everything prepared to make dinner, he's decided on soup just for the record, he keeps noting that something is bothering Ashley, but she isn't actually saying anything about it.
You're struck with an odd urge to pull this broody bitch into your arms and force her to stay until she smiles. Let you push such an idea to the back of your mind, where it may fester with all the other thoughts you wish you never had.
And so he doesn't say anything either, because he just knows that it's going to start a fight. He can tell. He doesn't say anything until he just cannot take it anymore.
Ashley, I can tell something is up. Spit it out.
I have something to tell you. But first, you have to promise to agree.
I will absolutely not promise that.
Okay then, never mind.
You know, I am genuinely amazed that these two ever get anything done of how much time they waste squabbling with each other. Ashley says she's disappointed that he didn't come to this conclusion himself, but says that they need to off their parents, and finally tells him about the deal that she made with the demon in exchange for more future visions. And Andrew is less than thrilled about this. Kind of hard to blame him in all honesty. Like, think about this from his perspective. Ashley was the one who insisted they come here in the first place and wanted to off their parents from the get-go. Now, we know from the dream sequence that she does have a reason beyond the fun of it, I guess. But Andrew doesn't. He didn't see that. To Andrew, them being here at all is the result of a compromise he didn't want to make, and has been very clear about that from the beginning. Ashley was the one who wanted to come here, rob them specifically, I guess out of nothing but pure spite, and then axe them. Andrew relented and agreed to come here on the singular condition that she agreed to drop the homicide so as to not leave any trace of their recent whereabouts. As a consequence of all this, their folks now know they're alive, and that has the potential to cause serious issues down the line, and to top it all off, Ashley's coming up with a reason to try and get her way yet again. Ashley even says, verbatim, that she has a reason for wanting to knock them out this time, kind of admitting that beforehand she didn't really have a good reason to want to do that, but she wanted to anyway. She really is not doing her bitch any favors here. I mean, I'll grant you, Andrew blew her off, but Ashley probably could have insisted on this being important, so, you know.
Let me think about it.
What's there to think about?
Hey, kids, it's good to see you.
Says Dad with all the enthusiasm of a dead fish. An extremely tiresome dinner later.
Ashley doesn't even get a proper seat for dinner. She gets the stepladder in the corner of the kitchen, despite the fact that there's 2 extra chairs in the building. God, that's funny. What, one of you couldn't have brought in one from the other room? Actually, considering the implications we had earlier, maybe it's for the best that Ashley didn't get one of those. Oh, also, yeah, their father's here, by the way. The fact I forgot to mention him really should tell you everything you need to know about the role he has in proceedings. Once they're done with their extremely tiresome dinner, their mother asks them to clear everything up and then leaves without waiting for an answer. So that wasn't a request, that was an order, got it. Because these two just cannot have anything resembling a civilized conversation, Andrew and Ashley start butting heads on how exactly to proceed from here.
It can't be done.
The dishes, the robbing, or the killing?
Neither robbing nor killing! The more I think about it, the less doable this is. It takes one report to the authorities to put us on their radar. And if anything happens to our parents, who do you reckon are the prime suspects?
Well, surely not their 2 dead kids.
Were those documents even official?
Well, even then, surely the poor Grave siblings perished in the fire.
Trust me, it takes only one person to start digging into it. And suddenly we've not only alerted them we're alive, but also revealed our recent whereabouts. Better off mugging random strangers who have no connection to us.
And what makes you so sure this bitch won't snitch on us anyway?
Seems to me she already sold us off once before.
I mean, assuming she believed me earlier, there'd be no reason for her to do anything. She's the kind of person who'd rather stay out of it anyway.
I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
What?
You're all about being so careful. But when push comes to shove, you stick your head in the sand. Hell, since you think everything is all good, why not stay here and play happy family some more? Bet you like that, huh? You seem to get along so nice.
You know I'm only keeping up appearances, right? And so is she.
Well, to me, it was the same as ever.
Ashley, are you kidding me? Okay. Listen. I chose you, didn't I? I chose you. So if anyone is playing happy family here, it's you and me.
So, you're saying you're not happy?
But I didn't know that already.
Fuck off with that. That's not what I said. If you'd keep your end of the agreement, everything would be just peachy.
I've been behaving.
No, you haven't, but that's not what I'm talking about.
I agreed to behave, and you agreed it's just us now.
Funny, because I remember agreeing to bury Andy and Leyley.
That is funny. I think you're misremembering.
I'm not, because it's the only reason I'm here in the first place.
And you must have misunderstood me.
Just to interrupt here, no, he absolutely did not misunderstand. That is explicitly what you agreed to, Ashley. I do not know what completely twisted leaps in logic one would have to make to conclude that that wasn't what you agreed to. Just want to make that clear, but it again shows how insistent Ashley is upon starting up Andy and Leyley again. It just keeps happening. What exactly is the reason for that at this point? Well, Andrew has a theory on that.
What? If you don't like it, why not stay here with Mommy and Daddy and be a good little murder boy? Why don't you leave me to rot? Clearly you don't even like me.
You're the one who doesn't like me. It's all about Andy with you. Well, guess what? Andy is dead.
You're right.
I really don't like Andrew.
I'm sorry to hear that. Because Andrew is all you'll get.
I didn't like that. So while they're debating as to what precisely the plan is, their mother walks in on them arguing and... I'm sorry, but these battles amuse me to no end. I like to imagine whoever just sort of slides in, like, ooh, Andrew, Andy, buddy, my boy. What, what's your hand doing there, mate? So their mother is essentially trying to kick them out, saying that there's no space to house them, despite the fact that it is much larger than their previous apartment, where they all lived.
And you're both already in your 20s. I don't know how else to say it.
No, it's...
Yeah, we're not fucking planning on living here. Thanks for the invitation, though.
It's not like you're unwelcome to visit. There's just no room to keep housing you indefinitely.
Yeah, I get it.
But since you're already here, I guess one night won't be a problem.
But you need to start looking for somewhere else to stay first thing in the morning.
And it should probably be 2 separate places.
That's a tall order after all our earthly possessions just burned to the ground.
It's amazing what money can buy once you have a job. Speaking of which, I've got a morning shift tomorrow. There's a spare bed in the basement. Andrew, you can take the couch.
Alright, good night.
Good night.
Well,
Aren't you going to bed?
I'm not that tired yet,
You are
so...
under my roof right now when you will go to your designated sleeping areas immediately. Sleep now or get out at once!
Cool! Turns out, Andrew doesn't do well with sleep. One of the good things about having to deal with Ashley and her unending stream of relentless trash is that he's distracted from processing everything that's happened. But once the world around him is still, that becomes impossible. On top of that, he can't just go straight to sleep and be done with it, and claims to have nothing but nightmares whenever he does manage to get some shut-eye. So while he waits for sleep, there's nothing left to distract him from himself. Though fully intending to go and pick a fight with Ashley, he falls asleep, and we enter another dream sequence. And our first one is Andrew. He finds himself in an empty room, with a freezer that isn't full of human meat. God, seeing that line written down is like... that's like a one-sentence horror story right there. Jesus. He also has to deal with the poetry-speaking Victorian-esque phantom of the cultist they ate.
Greetings, neighbor! Hath thou arrived to borrow sweet granules of sugar? Behold, as thou may witness, naught but flesh doth I possess to present unto thee. All ghosts are apparently required to speak like this. Yes, even the recently passed ones. You read too much poetry. Be alert, young Mr. Graves. 'Tis time for thee to compartmentalize.
Oh, you want to play this game, do you? Alright. Verily, phantom of the departed, cease the vibration of ye vocal cords. I doth wish not to listen to fine Shakespearean bullshit, for I live up upon the land whose soil is soaked in Faust blood. Acknowledgence of thine forefathers is forever etched upon God's country. Telleth me, doth thou reckon one caneth cut in twain the imagined spirit of one already deported from the immortal coil? Doth thou wish to fucking find out? Test me not, manifestation of an English major's subconscious. You prick. Never test me on anything. Fuck you. Anyway, Andrew wades off into the darkness, collecting all of the limbs that they hacked off of this guy back in the apartment, leaving a lovely trail of blood as we find the path. One of them is missing, so he has to go looking for it. Since this whole sequence is a dream, it's pretty heavy in symbolism and reflections on what has happened in Andrew's life. Speaking of which, he comes across Leyley. Not Ashley, Leyley. A Leyley which, according to him, isn't supposed to exist anymore. Andrew treats Leyley with, I was gonna say thinly veiled contempt, but that doesn't really seem fitting. He outright seems to hate her. Leyley just finds it funny. She starts following him, and provides the occasional candle that Andrew can light up to help reveal new areas to head towards. And by occasional, I mean just the one.
Ooh, it sure is dark that way. Good thing I have these candles.
Great, hand them over.
No way.
So like any reasonable person, when presented with the choice, I decide to murder the child. Alas, to no avail.
What the hell?
Let the little shit evade you.
What was that, you psycho jerk?
Whatever, it's just a dream anyway.
Most people would still be horrified to kill a child. But I guess you're used to it, huh?
Jesus, that is ice cold. Lighting up another candle, another area opens up and... well, that's terrifying.
Someone stares into the room with an unblinking gaze.
Coolsies. This area is showcasing Andrew's ex-girlfriend's dorm room. Remember that call he got in episode 1? This is her. Her name is Julia. Go up to her and we get another flashback.
You've been quiet all day. What's up?
No, it's nothing. Or actually, I've been thinking about something a lot lately. But I don't know if I should bring it up.
With that much buildup, you kind of have to now.
Well, okay. But please don't get mad.
When have I ever even once raised my voice with her? You know you can tell me anything.
I talked to my sister about what you said the other day. And she agrees with me that maybe it's... like, maybe it'd be better for Ashley to learn some independence. Even if just for her own sake, you know? And maybe for our sake, too? I think it'd just be nice if you could stay over more often. And not, like, always cut things short or cancel on me so much.
Sorry.
I'm not reprimanding you.
I can't make her learn anything, though.
No. But you could, like, you know, not always go when she asks.
If your sister needed something, wouldn't you go?
Well, yes, but she only asks if she actually needs something.
I suppose.
Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or brought this up after all.
No, it's fine. I guess I'm still shook up over what happened to your friend way back when. Ashley might not show it, but I think it affected her a lot too. So that's probably why she is how she is.
I really don't get that impression at all.
For someone so obnoxious, she's surprisingly difficult to read, isn't she?
Difficult in general.
Sorry, I didn't catch that?
No, nothing. Go on.
Anyway, I worry about something like that happening to her. Or happening to you. So I can't let either of you out of my sight.
I'll be fine if you're with me.
Would you tie your hair up for me?
Oh, heck no! You'll pull on it again.
Oh, but don't you know it's how boys show their love?
Well, that's just awful.
Well, that was honestly kind of sweet. It's like this one bastion of light we've seen in Andrew's entire life up to this point. Julia is just kind of a sweetheart. She's like the one character so far I haven't felt any inclination whatsoever to inflict grievous violence upon. She's like the one indication that there's a way out of this nightmare. According to Andrew, she still lingers. In the room, we can find some alarming letters in the trash, and her phone's voicemail is...
You have 127 new voicemails.
Oh, good lord. But despite the audio apparently being distorted, Andrew is fully aware of who it is. You know, between this and unblinking McGee over there, sometimes you'll play this game and you'll just be doing things, running around from one location to the next, getting into the dialogue, laughing at the absurdity of this nonsense, and you sort of forget what kind of game you're playing. Occasionally, something messed up happens, but after a certain point you kind of get numb to it. I didn't really feel much of anything acting the hitman, for example. And then you stumble upon something like this, which reminds you, in no uncertain terms, that you are playing a psychological horror game. So with that in mind, these messages are exactly as pleasant as you would expect. Let's listen to some of them, shall we? I'm sure they won't be scarring.
Look, I don't know what your fucking problem is. I told you to fuck off. I warned you. Do you think you're all that? You think you're somehow special? You're just another hole. And you're not even the only one. He's got a slew of floozies just like you. Enjoy what you have, because you're well on your way out by now. The only reason he's with you is because he feels sorry for you. He's just some ugly cunt with a dead best friend. Hurry up and kill yourself. And when you get to hell, ask your friend what happened to her. I bet you'd be so surprised. Oh, fucking die, you worthless piece of shit slut. Go slit your wrist some more. And this time do it proper. Do you think you're better than me? Just because you can fuck him and I can't? You think that's love? Are you fucking delusional? Cum dumpsters like you are just that. He will never love you. Not like he loves me. I am the only one. I am everything. I am the secrets he'll never hear. When he lies in bed at night and when he needs someone to hold on to, it's not you he seeks out. It is me.
That's enough of that.
Alright, so now that I've had my will to live drained, does anyone remember chapter 1? When Andrew called out Ashley for harassing Julia? Consider the fact that this is a dream, and therefore, there's none of the supernatural tomfoolery that is afoot with Ashley. I want to make that really clear. There is no hypothetical nonsense, no future sight, no weirdness. This is a pretty cut and dry flashback within a dream he's having that is in no way being influenced by any other factors. So, that being the case, How does he know what messages Ashley had been leaving Julia? And how does he know it's her? How does he recognize the voice? There's only really one conclusion you can come to. He has listened to them before. They were in the lockdown for 3 months, meaning that he had to have heard these messages before the lockdown, and Julia broke up with him 3 months into the quarantine, which means that he knew for a fact Ashley was harassing Julia when they were still dating. He was playing dumb back in chapter 1, so it really was you, he said, when he knew exactly who it was and what she was doing. And he just did nothing. He didn't call her out at all. You can tell that by Ashley's reaction, remember that? Her reaction was not, oh, this again. It was, what, she told you? That's the first time he brought it up with her. That doesn't exactly paint him in the best of lights now, does it?
You'll never see her again. And the fact that it doesn't really bother you, bothers you.
The question is why? Why in the hell didn't he call Ashley out before it got this bad? Clearly he knew, so why didn't he stop this? Why did he let it continue? And why does he keep putting up with all of this? At every turn, Ashley keeps making his life more and more difficult. He's dragged into more and more of her nonsense. Why is he still going through all of this? Oh yeah, the contents of Ashley's messages. Do you seriously need me to explain to you that they're deranged? What could you possibly expect me to add to that? What do you want from me? Getting back to our room-filled void, Leyley wants to draw, but she doesn't have crayons to color with.
Well, if I nick myself, I can get red.
I'll get you your pencils. You've reduced yourself to an errand boy for a Leyley that doesn't even exist. Way to go, loser.
I love this game's sense of humor, I really do. It is exactly my sense of humor. To get the imaginary Leyley some crayons, we have to take them from Julia's room. To appease the horrible gremlin monster, Andrew has to take from his girlfriend and give to his perpetually demanding sister. Ah, symbolism. For our trouble, Leyley gives us another candle.
Did it carefully, like it's me.
I'm lighting it on fire.
Not cool.
That's flames for you.
Boo, you suck.
Laugh all you can, you little shit, so help me God if I get the chance. Alright, what have we got for our next room? Oh good, corpses, how refreshing. This one is full of the people that Andrew has put directly into the ground at this point. Going up to each, we get Andrew's perspective on them. The guard he took out to protect Ashley, so no regrets. Apparently he was leering at Ashley, so scratch that, one regret. He regrets that he couldn't have dragged it out, killed him slower. The hitman he's not too bothered by since that was self-defense. You know what? Both of those, fair enough. Circumstances being what they were, hard to fault him for those sorts of reactions. The most disturbing one here is the lady that they took hostage. He knows Ashley would have wanted to put her in the ground anyway, and yeah, he called that one alright. But the worrying part is that beyond if it could be traced back to the two of them, he isn't bothered by what he's done. That's, In a nearby closet, we find ourselves a walking human rights violation. Hello, Ashley!
Ta-da!
She reminds us that we, ate the other limb, but also points out that we could just replace it with one of the ones from Andrew's other victims. This is a dream world, dream logic supply, so sure, let's go with that. Let's lop off one of these and return to the room with the manifestation of Andrew's angst.
What ails thee?
Mostly you. And also that. See, once we dump all these limbs into the freezer, a familiar-looking crate appears. Small detail that I truly adore. For the first couple of times where you try and interact with the box, Andrew flat-out refuses and walks away. You have to keep forcing him to do it if you want to get anywhere.
Rise and shine, Nina! Did you have a fun night? I sure hope you learned your lesson. There's no answer. Huh. Guess she's still sleeping.
It's the morning, following them locking up that girl in a crate.
Leyley kicks the crate.
Wake up, sleepyhead!
Come on, don't.
Well, good to see you're both still in such high spirits. There's an undercurrent of dread here, though. See, we know what they're going to find in there. They don't, though.
You open the crate.
Oh!
Wait, what? Why is she dead? How did... What? That can't be right. What's going on?
Whatever. If you're so weak that you die just like that, then clearly nature doesn't want you to live.
Shut up! Just shut up!
Nah, forget this. Let's just leave her here. Since you took the stick off, it looks like she went there on her own anyway.
No, it doesn't! Why would she have clawed at the crate until her fingernails split if she had gone in willingly?
Oh well. It's not like anyone knows she's here. Let's just leave her.
Oh, it'll start rotting. And someone will come looking and find her. I mean, her family was already looking for her. It's only a matter of time until they come check here.
So what do we do then?
Fuck.
Let's just hide it then.
Huh?
If no one knows, then it's not a problem.
They're gonna know, Leyley. They'll find the body, and they'll know. And then they'll throw me in prison for the rest of my life!
Me too! It's fine if it's the both of us.
No! No, you fucking idiot! You don't get it, do you? Guys and girls don't go to the same prison! They're going to take you away from me!
How was I supposed to know? You figure something out then, since you're so smart.
Okay. Let's just, move her somewhere. Yes, a grave. Let's dig up a grave for her.
Alright, where?
Anywhere in the forest should be fine.
I mean, there's a park right outside.
Yeah, that's probably fine. But first we need to wrap her up in something, because no one can see us carry her there.
So, I guess we're just hiding the body of a chick. Cool, great, yeah, awesome, fantastic. That's just great. Woohoo! Hey, you can interact with the box again. Maybe that'll somehow solve all our problems.
Morbid curiosity compels you to take a better look. Instant regret.
Yeah, in hindsight, I really don't know what I expected, if I'm being honest. Alright, Christ, what are we doing here? They find a tarp to wrap the body in and take it to the park, and the atmosphere is just heavy. Whatever life or energy or adrenaline or anything that you may have had until this point is just gone. And you're left with the crushing reality of the absolute mess these two have gotten themselves into. Now they're gonna try and bury it. Alas, Leyley couldn't find any shovels, so wooden planks riddled with splinters are the best they've got. So the graves dig the girl a shallow grave, until Leyley gets tired and says that this will be good enough, because apparently the weight of what they've done hasn't quite registered for her. Go and check on her, and she just asks, "What's for dinner?" I don't know how to respond to that right now. Again, she doesn't really seem to grasp the severity of the situation, or she just doesn't care all that much. One or the other, it's hard to tell right now. So they bury the body and do their best to hide the evidence by way of throwing foliage and dirt on top and weighing it all down with rocks, so the next brief doesn't uncover everything.
Nice. Makes me want to write your name on it.
Out of the question!
I wasn't gonna do it, I was just saying.
Leyley, for the love of God.
What is it now? She's hidden.
What if they find her? What if a police dog digs her up?
Listen, forget it.
I can't!
Of course you can. Did you know that if you don't think about something for a really long time, it's like it never happened? Because you can't remember it anymore. Let's forget all about it.
Leyley, I need to know you won't say anything. To anyone. Promise me this stays between us.
I just said we'll forget all about it.
You say one thing and do another! Promise me that this time you'll honest to God keep your mouth shut!
I promise. I won't say anything. Hell, I'll never even say her name again. What was it, anyway? I don't remember anymore.
Hey, remember in episode 1 when we were playing exclusively as Ashley, and then we got to the flashback prior to this, and the girl they put in the box had their name and face all blocked out? This is why. Ashley literally just blanked on it entirely. I'll remind you that she used to be friends with this girl, or well, as close to a friend that Leyley seems capable of having, which seems is next to nothing at all. And on that lovely notion, Andy is overwhelmed and Leyley has to reassure him.
There. It'll be fine. Just kidding.
Sorry, what?
I'm gonna tell on you. If you won't do what I say, I'll tell everyone all about what you did.
Who's going to play with you if I'm in jail?
I'll send you letters.
I can't read your crappy handwriting.
Guess you'll just have to do what I say then. Otherwise, you'll be all alone in prison. I am your best friend from now on.
You already were, Leyley.
Don't lie to me!
Not. You think?
Whatever, it's you and me now. No one else will like you, 'cause you're bad. You're a bad person, Andy. But I won't tell anyone.
Of course not. You'd be in trouble too.
So what? No one likes me anyway. But that's fine, 'cause you'll be around now.
God, you stupid, stupid girl. I've been here this whole time. None of this needed to happen. You could've just—
I know you don't like me! Andy, I know! But that doesn't matter anymore, because from now on, no one will like you either. So let's always be friends, okay? Be my friend. Or else.
I'll be whatever you want me to be.
Really? Then from now on, let's always be together.
You had a million things you wanted to say to this creature, none of which were pleasant. But absolutely nothing came out of your mouth.
Well, that explains a lot. I think we just got at least part of our answer to why does Andrew put up with Ashley and her never-ending psychosis. She's been holding this over his head. Since the game doesn't take place with them rotting in a prison cell, juvenile detention, or an insane asylum, we know that they got away with this horrendous deed. In the days that follow, Andy does pretty much whatever Leyley wants from him. Investigations do follow, the police show up and ask questions, but neither of them say anything. Not that Andy trusts a word that Leyley says.
I only asked Julia if she was expecting to see anyone that day.
Why?
You know, because a certain someone told her mom she went to study with Julia. So I thought maybe she told Julia she was gonna come see you instead.
Oh, did she?
I don't know, because I didn't want to just come out and ask. But Julia said she was visiting family that day, so I doubt she had any idea.
Your promises mean fucking nothing.
I mean, it's not hard to blame him, is it? The moment that Leyley thought that she had the upper hand here, she used it to effectively hold Andrew hostage and force him to do whatever she wanted. But because she doesn't seem to have even the beginnings of self-awareness, Leyley starts accusing him of pining over the now dead girl, and Andy is tired beyond all reason. No matter what he does, no matter how much he gives, no matter how many assurances he makes, it is never good enough.
I need a knife.
Once you leave the room, if you go onto the balcony, you can find their father, lamenting that he's just gotten fired. Not that Andy asked, or even said anything beyond hello. They both just sort of stood there. Andy said bye, and Papa here said, "No, I'm not gonna jump." And then just sort of vents his issues to his kid completely unprompted. Also, he got his kid's name wrong. He calls him Anders. Andy even corrects him. Not that their father makes much of an effort to correct himself, or apologize, or even acknowledge that he was spoken to. Then he says he's going to the unemployment office, and I guess just leaves his two kids in the apartment alone. Fantastic parenting right there. And if you go over to the table, you can find a milk carton. Up until this point, the name and the face of this girl have been blocked out. You were Ashley, who forgot. Now you're Andrew, who didn't. And now, on the missing persons label printed on the side of the carton, you can see both of them. This is Nina. This is who they got killed. Let's just soak that all in, shall we? How Ashley can just forget something like this, while Andrew can't. That's a subtle but interesting bit of characterization. Andy gets hold of a knife and returns to Leyley. And for a moment, he briefly considers just killing her right then and there. Instead, to my dissatisfaction, he has something else planned.
What are you doing with that knife?
I'm going to make a blood oath with you. But in return, you'll have to promise me something too.
Okay.
Keep my secret, and I'll keep you company.
And what if I don't?
Guess.
You're a bark. You wouldn't do anything.
If you'll ruin my life anyway, what reason is there for me to keep up appearances? Moreover, I'm doing this for you.
Then what happens if you break the promise?
I won't, if you won't.
I'm not buying that.
Leyley, you are a miserable, loathsome being that has wormed its way into every aspect of my life. And for that, my heart will always have a rotten, moldy sore spot just for you. Make of that what you will.
I mean, I'll take it, but jeez.
The deal is basically that Leyley keeps her mouth shut about what happened, and Andy will stick around and make her a priority. Although he does do a last-minute switcheroo and claim that the deal was to make her a priority. Just not the only priority, the vindictive little brat. It's a nice detail, this blood bond. It signifies that this really was the point of no return for these two. The dynamic that they would end up locked in for the majority of their lives was built on a foundation of blood. Nina's blood specifically. After that, once they got away with it, these two were irrevocably linked together. They were the only ones who knew about this, and were really the only ones who could undo the other. They had to trust one another, and distrust basically everyone else. Before this point, there was some leeway that could be afforded that would let them go down a different path, but now they've got this massive secret tying them together. They are locked into this particular little nightmare of theirs. Ashley's holding this over his head and threatening him, and Andrew is particularly vocal about not wanting them to be separated. This whole flashback is really interesting though, because it shows us that there is a part of Andrew that just outright hates Ashley. Or, well, Leyley at least. He wasn't up for any of this. All of this has stemmed from Ashley's insecurities about Andrew having any sort of interest in being around anyone other than her in any capacity whatsoever. Even the mere implication of such a thing being possible seems to be enough to provoke these sorts of unhinged reactions from her. Leyley dragged him into this, under duress, and now he's got to deal with it, because she just cannot stand the idea of him having a life outside of her. The way he talks about it though, he acts as though there's some serious distinction between Leyley and Ashley, like they're not even the same person, and to an extent, Ashley does the same. We've already seen examples of them doing this, but Ashley's desires are in the reverse. Andrew likes to treat Andy and Leyley as dead and gone, and he said outright he hates Leyley like you wouldn't believe. Meanwhile, Ashley doesn't particularly care for Andrew, but she is very fond of Andy, to the point of constantly and unendingly trying to bring him back from the metaphorical grave. I wonder if that's why they're called the Grave Siblings. Well, that and the literal grave that they dug. That's the whole thing we're going to need to unpack before we're done here. But there's a bunch of questions that still need to be answered. What in the world compels Ashley to go to these extremes just to keep Andrew around? Why does Andrew stick around through it all, even if though there's a big part of him that resents Ashley? Why is Andrew so defensive over Ashley being taken away? You'd think if he hates her, he'd be thrilled if anything. It's not like he lacks legitimate reasons to want to be rid of her. At the point your sibling got someone killed, I think it's quite reasonable to want to be as far away from them as possible. And another question worth bringing up is, sure, we now have an idea as to why Andrew keeps going along with Ashley's insanity post-child suffocation, but we don't have anything before that. Is he really just that much of a doormat that he'd let Ashley just drag him into all of this without much of a fight? Well, yes, but there's more to it than that. Hey, you want to know something else messed up about this dream flashback sequence? Just in case it wasn't already abhorrent enough for you, and you missed it because I kinda ran past it. Nina was Julia's friend, and her loss is something that will go on to severely impact Julia for the rest of her life. Julia is often referenced both directly and indirectly to have engaged in self-harm, and the loss of Nina and the fact that her case was never resolved is implied to have been one of the reasons she engages in that. And she ends up inadvertently dating someone directly responsible for what happened. Ain't that just lovely? Anyway, Leyley doesn't take Andy's switcheroo particularly well.
Don't be like that. I'll make you a priority, just not the
It's
only-
not enough! Why can't you just kill our parents?
Hold on, that's not what she said back then.
Do it for your cute little sister. I know you want to. Kill them to solve all your problems. Kill them to feel something. Kill them for food. Kill them to avoid the things I'll do to you if you don't.
What is that supposed to mean?
Me when I'm in an act like an unhinged lunatic psychopath competition and my opponent is Ashley Graves. We really needed that cleavage shot though, that was vitally necessary. No way to continue the plot without it really. Apparently, she was whispering into his ear while he slept explicitly to try and influence his thoughts and make him go along with sacrificing their parents to the demon. It really does just never end with her, does it? At this time, though, Andrew agrees to go along with it. Not because of Ashley's efforts to return Andy, as her dialogue says, but because Andrew just knows the kind of person that his mother is, apparently.
But you have a point that Mom might snitch on us. I knew that even before we got out of our apartment. I don't know why I let myself think anything else after talking to her.
It's because at your core, you're just a soft, gooey marshmallow. If it weren't for me, all kinds of vile women would have gobbled you up already.
What are you doing?
A demonstration!
I don't even know how to describe this sequence of images, to be honest with you. So the mother then comes out to speak to Andrew without Ashley being there, which, yeah, that might be a slight problem.
Andrew, I understand if you're angry, but at least listen. The whole situation with Ashley was... Oh. Oh, go on, Mom. Don't mind little old me. For the love of God, this had better not be what it looks like.
Well, I've been trying to be subtle about it.
Whatever. How does this look to you? Where'd you get... What's it looking like now, Mom?
God damn it, this is exactly why I emptied that bloody thing. Still, Renee doesn't know that the boom boom stick doesn't have any rounds in it, and so Ashley takes their mother hostage while a now more hesitant Andrew is dragged along for the ride. Kinda weird, given how he was willing to go along with it not 60 seconds ago. I wonder if Ashley actually following through on that made this all a bit too real for him. This little doormat extraordinaire. Though Andrew can interact with the mother a few times, to Ashley's increasing annoyance, and after infuriating her...
Beloved, don't test me.
I will put you in the ground, Ashley! Andrew goes to get some rope from the... let's call it a fun closet, and accidentally drops something, waking up their father.
Son? What on earth are you doing? Sorry, I, needed to,
There is absolutely no good explanation as to why you're rummaging through their sex toys. And the truth, I want to tie up Mom, doesn't sound any better.
I want to fuck myself?
Oh yeah, that'll do. This game is so utterly deranged, I love it. So, one quick lie to get the father towards the basement, one meat cleaver to the neck to threaten compliance, and one panicked question about how Andrew was supposed to be masturbating because that's just the kind of game we're playing here. Both of the parents are tied up while we figure some stuff out.
Got a rope. Maybe you should hang yourself with it?
Since we came here to rob the place, we interrogate them for what valuables they have and set up the ritual. Before they begin setting it all up, though, Ashley checks in with Andrew because she is worrying about Andrew changing his mind on this whole escapade. But he's pretty insistent that he's with her on this.
Fuck. Look, just trust me, Ashley. We're doing this.
You're the best. Come back soon.
Yeah. See you in a bit.
You are Ashley.
Also, Ashley barely remembers the ritual, but she'll manage to brute force her way through it no matter what, but it's good to know that our demon-linked protagonist barely has any idea what the hell she's doing. Now, robbing the place and setting up a demonic ritual will, for one reason or another, require both Andrew and Ashley to be alone with their parents individually, while the other is sorting something out. Sometimes it's the actual acquisition of ye old currency, and sometimes it's calling the bank to remove a withdrawal limit on a debit card.
Please hold. A representative will be with you as soon as possible. Please hold. A representative will be with you as soon as possible. Please hold. A representative will be with you as soon as possible.
Oh, that's weird. I'm pretty confident I'm not Ashley, yet at the same time, I'm feeling a strange, inexplicable, insatiable urge to kill. So far, throughout this episode, just about every interaction with their parents has come while Andrew and Ashley are together. Them being separated for a bit lets us see clearly how each of them interacts with their parents when they're on their own, without the other there to influence how things play out, either directly by jumping in, or indirectly by way of just being within earshot. Well, honestly, mainly how they interact with their mother. Their father is essentially a complete non-entity. It's even something Andrew will reflect on internally. But that aside, when it comes to Ashley, she and Renee don't seem to act all that different to how they did beforehand. By which I mean it's a relationship of, at best, sheer apathetic indifference, and at worst, pure, naked hostility. I mean, ignoring the fact for the moment that Ashley was quite happy to take them hostage for ritual sacrifice, these two had really the only isolated interaction between the siblings and the parents before this stage, and forgive me for drawing a couple of conclusions from it, but hearing Ashley suggest that Renee just straight up doesn't care, and Renee's response being to tell her to cry about it, I'm just gonna go ahead and hazard a guess that they haven't gotten along super great even before this point. And that reflects in how Ashley acts here. She is quite content aiming guns at their foes, taunting them and cutting either of them open for ritual blood. Should you take blood from Renee, their father... Oh my god, I never even said his name, did I? That's how little of a presence he has. For the record, his name is Douglas. Anyway, if you take blood from Renee, Douglas will react and Renee will assure him that she's fine and tells him not to worry, to which Ashley will spitefully say that Renee would never show that kind of concern in return. If you take blood from Douglas though, Renee does get very loud in her objections, only for Ashley to shove a gun in her face and tell her to shut up. Turns out that Renee already suspected that the two of them had something to do with the girl they killed's disappearance. Apparently, she knew it the second that the body was found near the warehouse the two of them used to play in, but she never said anything, claiming it was to protect them. Ashley says that it was for no other reason than to protect her own image and ego, and an ego their mother certainly seems to have.
When it comes to being a mother, I am a fucking saint, Ashley, a saint!
Oh yeah, clearly, because these two turned out just great, huh?
Looky, Ma, I drew a circle. Do you even know what a circle is? Because it's not that. The nerve of you! You never... Nope. No, don't let her get a rise out of you now.
So Andrew left to withdraw money on their parents' debit card, but when he gets back, it turns out that there was a draw limit.
Suck it, bitch. Being insufferable runs in the family.
They have to call the bank to get it removed, and the bank employs the singular most oblivious human being in the face of reality who just does not comprehend the most blatant subtextual message possible that Renee is being held hostage. It's not even subtext actually, it's just the text. Anyway, once the withdrawal limit is removed, we're given the choice of who to send to go and withdraw the rest of the money. Sending Ashley to handle this makes the most sense to me. Remember, I don't think super highly of Ashley here. At every turn, she seems to drag Andrew down with her. The goal here is to get these two as far away from one another as I feasibly can. 6 feet of dirt also being involved would be preferred, but at this point I will take what I can get. And the hope here is to give Andrew and his parents a chance to talk, and with any luck, get out of this nightmare. It's interesting that Ashley's options here are to either outright not trust Andrew in any capacity, and also not trust him in any capacity, but to trust the trinket. It lets her foresee the future, and that kind of ability is absurdly useful. Andrew would have to be a fool to turn on her and lose it. At least that's her logic. But she can't necessarily trust him in this situation. I mean, I guess if I were holding one of my siblings hostage by threatening to reveal that they helped me suffocate someone, I might not trust them either. So, alright, fair I suppose.
You are Andrew.
So, now Andrew is alone with his parents, and he gets everything ready for the ritual. Once Ashley has confirmed that they can withdraw money from the account, they don't need their folks anymore, so it's off to the demon that they will go. Interesting to note, now that Ashley isn't here, Renee's tone is completely different with him. She's a lot calmer and respectful with him. She'll try to actually engage with him, as opposed to how she is with Ashley, when even when things are this bad, she just will not even try to meet Ashley halfway. She'll go as far as to accuse Ashley of brainwashing Andrew into going along with this if she is the one who stays. Renee even offers up what she was going to talk to him about before this whole thing fell to crap by way of a lunatic raving around the revolver. Not that Andrew cares, but when he learns that it's about Ashley, now he'll listen. Namely, Renee says she wanted to apologize to him.
I wanted to apologize to you for always making you look after her. That was wrong with me.
It's fine.
Can you imagine what it was like for me back then? When I was your age, I was already stuck with a 7 and a 5-year-old to care for. Think you'd have fared better than me?
I wouldn't know.
This isn't an excuse, mind you, it's an explanation. I never hated you, I was just a fuck up.
Don't say that, honey, we did fine!
So fine, look where we are right now. Anyway, you were such an easy child, I thought we'd be just fine having another. I wasn't counting on Ashley to be so... I'm sorry I made you raise her. I thought you were getting along, so I didn't want to see what was happening. And for that, I apologize. It's all my fault. I apologize.
We've been getting hints about virtually all of this throughout the story so far. The Lemon Muffin flashback, where it's on Andy to give Leyley anything even resembling a decent birthday. We get references to him being responsible for getting groceries, and when burying Nina, Leyley asks Andy what they're having for dinner. Like she just expects him to be the one to provide her with food, as opposed to, say, her parents. I mean, aside from demonstrating how screwed up in the head this child is that her friend is dead, is right there and she's just hungry. Actually, I suppose that would foreshadow a few things. On their own, none of this is inherently bad. Giving a kid some amount of responsibility can really help their development and teach them some independence and valuable life skills. But that doesn't seem to be where it ended here. Renee said that Andrew had to raise Ashley. If that's the case, then we are far removed from this just being a harmless case of giving him some extra responsibility. Let's do some math real quick. Their mother says that when she was Andrew's age, she already had a 7 and a 5-year-old to raise. Andrew is 22. So, 22 minus 7 is 15. So when she had Andrew, she was 15 years old. That is not an ideal age to be raising a child! I mean, sure, there are teenagers that have become parents one way or another and done an absolutely phenomenal job in raising their kids. I'm not disparaging or disputing that. But regardless of that, it's not exactly ideal to be raising a kid when you haven't even finished high school. You've not had the time to fully mature as a person, either physically or emotionally, which I guess in part contributed to their grand decision when it came to Ashley. See, the main issue with these two lumps of flesh isn't even that they were teenage parents. It's the fact that they barely seem to have been parents at all. By Renee's own admission, Andrew was an easy child. From what we've seen of him, he was fairly quiet, did what he was told, for better and for worse, and not particularly confrontational. In a lot of ways, an ideal kid for a parent. So when they get to Ashley, well, Renee said it. They ended up delegating most of their actual parenting role onto Andrew. We're going to touch much more on that later, but for now we've got a decision to make. Their parents offer to help Andrew, to help him get out of this situation. They can make all of this go away. All they have to do is figure out some sort of solution to the mix-up with the death certificates, and they can even help him find a job and let him live here. They can make all of this alright. Andrew just has to agree, help get the gun away from Ashley, and put an end to all of this. And Andrew can choose to decline or to reflect.
I want to say yes. I wish I could say yes to that, honestly.
But?
I can't. I'm stuck. I'm so fucking stuck you don't even know!
Is it the death certificates? I noticed you'd moved them. There must have been some ugly mix-up. We can clear that up.
There's a lot more to it than that.
Nothing has happened that can't be fixed, Andrew. And I'm not angry. I know you didn't want to do this. All you have to do is convince Ashley to give you the gun, and we can put this behind us.
Fuck this. I need to light the candles.
My choice to have Andrew consider the option here was not drawn out of any belief in the parents, or any fondness for them. Frankly, I doubt a good 75% of what they have to say at the most charitable, and just about everything they say by default. But that's a secondary concern right now. My main reason is a desire to get Andrew the hell away from Ashley. Every minute that these two spend together just makes everything around them and their own relationship so much worse. It keeps descending into new layers of toxicity and brutality. Effectively, any prayer either of them have at all of escaping the spiral of insanity at this stage is just getting away from the other. And Andrew is, on some level, seemingly aware of this, but he keeps letting himself get dragged into Ashley's schemes, over and over again. Let's just be charitable to him for a moment and assume that there is some sort of compulsion in his brain, which means he just has to go along with these plans because he literally cannot control himself. The solution is still getting as far away from Ashley as he can, and he even says he wants to. And yet, when given the chance to bail, he can't. Even as he continues setting everything up, he's having to tell himself that it'll all be okay, so long as Ashley isn't herself. Everything will be fine. They'll be fine. But we all know damn well it won't be. How can it be? We've already seen the mess that they're in, the things that they've done, and the frankly abusive relationship he has with his sister. If things keep going like this, what good outcome is there? Hell, it's not even just this situation either. What's stopping him from just sneaking off in the middle of the night or something? If he wishes he could take them up on this offer, why isn't he? Why not just go for it? What else is there that's keeping him doing this? Why are you still doing this, Andrew? Ashley returns to absolutely no fanfare from anyone. Andrew's demeanor is a whole lot more detached and heavy. He just wants to get this over and done with. And so they get right to it.
Can you just summon the damn thing?
What's wrong?
Everything. Will you just get to it, goddammit?
Sheesh. You're Ashley.
Okay, let's get this done then.
Hello, hello! Mr. and Mrs. Demon. So I don't have the mood music, but I got everything else you asked for. There's no answer. Maybe if I sing something?
Please don't.
Mercifully, the entity appears, sparing everyone from secondhand embarrassment.
Torso.
What the fuck is that? I offer those two! Their screaming is short-lived as the demon steals their souls.
Well, that's that, I guess.
Wonder if I should feel something.
I mean, you haven't for the last 4 murders. I don't know why you'd start feeling something now, I guess. The terms of the deal met, the demon recharges their trinket. 2 charges for 2 souls. Meanwhile, the demon seems to take notice of Andrew. Only for Ashley to comment on him not being very useful or very loyal, but... Actually, no, that's kind of it. She even says she has no idea why she keeps him around. Are you serious, Ashley? Once the demon leaves, Ashley reveals that she had been eavesdropping in on the conversation between Andrew and their parents. So she heard Andrew commenting about being stuck, and she's none too pleased with him for that. And she genuinely straight up just does not trust him, huh? But that's not something that they can get into right now. Instead, they have a pair of bodies to dispose of. Except not really.
Andrew is untying the parents, but stops.
Wait, what?
What is it?
Is Dad breathing?
You take a look, and sure enough, his chest is moving ever so slightly. He is! Mom, too!
Having your soul stolen doesn't just outright end someone's life, it turns out. It just puts them into a coma-like state. Not that there's really much of a functional difference, but it, it kind of makes the whole cannibalism thing from the last episode a lot worse, doesn't it? Yeah, we ate an alive guy. Although if it helps, he probably wasn't alive after Andrew pulled his head off. So, while Andrew freaks out over this, because them being alive changes things quite drastically as far as he's concerned, Ashley decides to deal with the situation herself and actually gets her own hands dirty for once.
No, Andrew, look! Look here for a sec!
What?
You get your father, too.
What are you doing?
There. All dead. Now tell me again how I always make you do all the dirty work. He'll bitch and moan. Surely he'll bitch and moan as per usual. But you did not miss that sigh of relief. Anyway,
They then proceed to do everything that they can to dispose of their parents' bodies, with the goal of making it look like the two of them have just completely up and vanished without a trace. According to Andrew, it's better for them that it doesn't look like a murder. If for no other reason than people who go missing seemingly at random could be anything. Maybe they just went somewhere and didn't tell anyone. But if it's a murder investigation, well, it's an investigation, isn't it? That's more likely to get them caught. Part of pulling off this disappearing act is draining the inevitable quantities of blood from what they're about to do, as well as the blood from the ritual circle, all down a nearby drain, but it's blocked. Andrew has Ashley get some vinegar and baking soda to act as a cleaning agent, with the instructions to put in the baking soda first and then vinegar. Being the petty scum that I am, and also because I thought it might make Andrew hate Ashley slightly faster, I did it in the opposite order, vinegar first and baking soda second, which upsets him, but either way, the drain doesn't clear. So Andrew has to get arm deep in this thing after Ashley tells him that she sure as hell isn't going to do it. Is anyone else noticing how Ashley keeps making Andrew do the things that she wants to happen but doesn't want to actually do herself? Like, I know that this is an odd time to bring it up, but the more that you look at the series of events throughout the game, the more that becomes a reoccurring thing. This is like the 4th time that we've seen where she wants to do something, but she gets Andrew to do much of the act itself. Locking Nina in a crate, offing the hitman, sacrificing their parents, and now this. Admittedly, this isn't quite the same caliber of bad as the others, but you get my point, right? Ashley doesn't get her hands dirty all that much, and when she does, it's usually when there's absolutely no threat of anything remotely negative happening to her. Wow, stabbing the unmoving, soulless bodies of their parents. How brave of you, Ashley. Doesn't it give the impression that this entire relationship is less about any real affection and more about Ashley using Andrew as a tool to her own benefit? Andrew digs out, quote, God knows what from the drain, and taking a look at it, yeah, I don't even want to know what that is. During this, Ashley decides to press her luck by calling him Andy. Andrew doesn't respond to this, and Ashley even thinks to herself that it's good that he's coming around.
Drain works. Let's get this over with.
You and your brother dismember your parents, and disembowel them, and decapitate them.
What fun.
Having regrets?
Would I be allowed to say so if I did?
Of course. You could tell me anything.
Anything I want used against me anyway.
I love you, Andy. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm sorry for lashing out earlier. I forgot how hard this is for you.
I'm fine.
No, you're not. Talk to me.
I've got nothing to say to you.
For the first time in forever, you have no idea what he's thinking.
God, there's so much to touch on here. Ashley treats Andrew's reaction to all of this like it's a good thing, like he's coming around to being Andy again, while he's clearly disturbed and on the verge of tears. All of this is good to her, only to then start to feel uncomfortable when Andrew refuses to speak with her on the subject. Consider their relationship for a moment. Each time Andrew has been disturbed by something that's happened, it's always Ashley he goes to. After the cultist, the nightmares he had in the motel, granted he didn't have anyone else to go to, but there's a suggestion that it's been like this for a while. If you recall, it's even suggested that he went to Ashley instead of Julia, even when they were dating. This time, he doesn't go to her. He actively pushes her away. It almost seems like Ashley is doing all of this disturbing stuff on purpose, to freak Andrew out. Ashley cannot stand the idea of Andrew being around anyone else, and Andrew always goes to her for comfort. It almost looks like she's creating these moments to maintain that dependency. Hell, that's what she did when they buried Nina. Create a situation, hook Andrew into it, and then use that to force him to stay around. Only this time, it seems like it's backfired, and Ashley has no idea what to think about that. Is that what's happening here? To an extent, maybe. But there's more to it than that. Following all of this, The two of them run about the house, using whatever methods they have to hand to get rid of the evidence. A fire to burn some stuff, the blender to mash up all the guts to pour down the drain, removing teeth from the skulls to remove any dental record identification, and at this point you really should have expected it, but Ashley decides that she's going to make a soup out of the remains. Apparently, this is dinner.
Dinner's ready.
I'm eating too.
Of course. This is the last hearty home-cooked meal for a while, after all. You're really not gonna have any?
I honestly don't see the point. If you're hungry, there's other food available.
But don't you want to feel powerful?
Explain.
Well, let me think. Okay, so, humans are at the top of the food chain, right? And then, when I come and eat the humans, I'm on top of that!
That's not really how that works, but whatever. And this is your diet now? You sacrifice people and eat them for kicks?
You're not getting it. Let me try explaining it again.
I don't need to get it. I just need to know if this is gonna be a thing. I'm the one who's gonna have to sort it out.
It's like, if I eat someone, I'm eating their entire life so far. Like, everything that they've known and felt, I'm consuming all of that. And if I could turn that into some sort of energy, I'd be all powerful.
Does this power leave you shit the corpses out?
No. It's just like absorbing nutrients. I get to keep the energy.
If you say so.
You're not getting it at all.
Even if I could magically absorb someone else's life, what would I do with that? I have no desire at all to be your mother or father in any capacity.
Those two I'm gonna shit out and flush down the toilet. There! Finally!
What?
Nothing.
Well, anyway.
So Ashley is just completely out of her mind then. Fantastic. Good to know. And despite Ashley's suggestion, staying here isn't much of an option. There's way too many avenues for why that's a bad idea. From their parents' workplaces noticing them going missing, to the neighbors having interacted with them, and them having extended family too. They knew people who would notice that they're gone.
A bunch of whores. Why aren't they just happy with each other?
I didn't imply they fucked any of them.
Irrelevant! It's all the same!
What, Ashley? No, that's not how that works.
Anyway, they can't all go, haven't heard from those two in a while. Oh well. Someone's gonna come looking with the authorities. And who will they find here? Their children, who didn't report their parents missing. An officer asks, how the fuck aren't you dead anyway?
If you don't want to stay here, just say so!
It's not that I don't want to, I just don't think we can.
After they finished everything up to the best of their abilities, they decide that Ashley should take a nap, to see if she gets any visions to warn them of any possible dangers ahead. Andrew tries to get Ashley to let him have a try with the trinket to see if it would work for him, but Ashley is cagey about letting him even try. But they have a reasonable conversation and find a compromise that benefits. Yeah, I can't keep this up with you. You already know they argue about it. It'd be weirder if they didn't at this stage. It might just be my blunt sense of humor, because Andrew's officer asking how the hell they're even alive got the same reaction out of me, but the way that this interaction goes is just so funny to me.
Whatever. Have an awful night and terrible dreams.
Andrew fucks off somewhere and you go to sleep.
These two are awful. Ashley's dream is quite similar to the one that she had earlier. The aesthetic and soundtrack are the same, the area looks familiar, and Ashley even comments on how it looks like her previous dream. Only this time, she's being pursued by something. And she makes the prudent decision to get as far away from whatever it is as quickly as she can. Quickly using whatever she has nearby, she escapes each room and runs into other areas of the dream, being chased all the while. She throws down new pathways with flower petals and improvises a bridge using a sign, which she then kicks into the void to throw off whatever pursuer is following her. In the next room, there is a locked door that you can optionally go in and find the demon just kinda hanging out with a bunch of souls, apparently. One of them looks weird and is mentioned as being a tar soul to be that didn't hatch. This thing is repeatedly called Ashley a tar soul, so this is probably some sort of in-between stage between that of a regular soul and a soul like Ashley's. Which, you know, given everything she's done, I'll admit is more than a little concerning. How the hell does one get to this stage? Actually, how does any of this tar soul stuff work, thinking about it? What exactly makes Ashley a tar soul? Whoa, was she just born like this, or is she a tar soul by way of committing more and more atrocious acts? The demon is here mostly just to watch what happens in the vision, apparently. Speaking of which, we should get back to that. Getting through the room, we enter a corridor, and whatever it is that's chasing Ashley has caught up. It's Andrew! Only, something's not right.
No, wait, something isn't. I don't suppose we could talk things out. There, truce. Come on, Andy, play nice with your sister.
Tag. I'm it.
You should run. In 3, 2, 1, run.
No! It's not my fault!
This episode is titled
No! Wait!
Andy and Leyley and
No! That's your worst!
the final finale. Finally!
No! I'm sorry, okay? I'll be better. Let's just leave and forget about all of this. Everything will be fine. I'll behave, I promise.
You've already shown me that's not true. I'm not falling for this again.
No, wait. I'm sorry, Andrew. I'm sorry.
I'm so tired of your sorries. They don't mean shit.
Well, that went well. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is a 100% positive result. But as one might suspect, this freaks Ashley right the hell out once she's woken up.
Shit. No. What did I do to piss him off like that? Why would No. He would never. Not my auntie. No. I suppose he might. Or Andrew might anyway. It's him less and less.
Andrew walks in after that, and Ashley is entirely shaken up by her vision. And we see behavior from her that, up until this point, we haven't seen before. She's downright frightened. She's stammering, reacts with strong, instant denial when Andrew asks if she's had a vision, and internally is freaking out. She calls him Andy in the form of asking a question, apparently to see just who it is in yet another example of these two treating Andy and Leyley as almost different entities to themselves. Andrew's response is completely cold, and he's still clearly angry with her. But he does eventually respond. She's relieved, but because she just cannot help herself from being herself, in the next moment she starts giving him a hard time, and he snaps back at her shortly thereafter. He calls Andy another guy's name, and says that she shouldn't be surprised by how terse his response is when that's what she's doing. So much for it being Andy.
Come on then. Parents won't jump into the ocean by themselves.
At this point, any and all levity is just gone. The music is slow and ominous, and any interactions that the two of them have, like this one, are incredibly hostile.
Whoops.
Are you picking them up or what?
What? Hey now, I wasn't the one who packed them in this flimsy bag.
I said pick them up, you dumb bitch!
What did you just call me?
Now, Ashley!
All right.
This is just so not how Ashley behaved beforehand. Now she's more or less just doing what Andrew tells her, like she's just scared of upsetting him. She hasn't been scared or hesitant to upset him before. These two being pissed at one another is nothing new, but this has a very different vibe to all of the other times.
Thank God no one is here at this hour.
Vroom, vroom.
They find a bridge and dump the bodies under the cover of darkness. The bag they put the skulls in was weighted down with stones, both to hide the fact that it's a human head in there and also to make sure that it's sunk to the bottom of the water, just in case. At the very least, it would buy them some time. Since the bags are open, there's basically no guarantee that they'll sink, but Andrew just doesn't care anymore, and tells Ashley to just chuck the things in. After, Ashley asks Andrew if he's mad at her, and he keeps saying that he isn't, and that they'll just do whatever Ashley wants. They end up doing that anyway, so what's even the point of asking him? What difference does it make at this point? Even when Andrew has been angry with Ashley throughout the episodes, it's never quite been at this level. There's always been some degree of banter and levity. The only real examples that are even remotely close to this are the moments where Andrew attacked her in the apartment complex and before in the motel. But even then, in those examples, they happened, and then the next minute it was back to normal, like nothing had happened at all. But ever since we sacrificed their parents, Andrew has had a far more hostile and cold attitude towards Ashley, only speaking to her because it's absolutely necessary. Now that we're here, he's just sort of detached. This is a long, prolonged anger that we haven't seen from him before. He's livid, and he's barely even trying to hide it. And with just a bit more pushing, he doesn't even bother with that anymore.
You're totally mad at me, Andy. Why?
Remember when you promised you wouldn't call me that anymore?
Nope. But I remember half a minute ago when you said we do what I want.
After everything I just did for you, this is how you're going to treat me?
So you are mad at me. I fucking knew it.
I asked you for one thing, Ashley. One! Not a big thing, mind you, not even a difficult one. Yeah, I'm mad, but so what? It's not like you're going to do anything about it. Just pick the next stupid thing you want to do and let's go.
You were fine with me calling you Andy back at the house yesterday.
I had to be, didn't I? You knew I couldn't afford to start a fight with you then. That's why you started pushing it. You think I didn't pick up on that? Well, there's neither appearances to keep nor corpses to hide now. Want to have another go at it? Well?
What would you want, Andrew?
I want to lock you in the trunk of the car and drive off this bridge. Ha, ha, ha. You think I'm kidding?
Ew, I don't want to be in the same grave as Mom and Dad.
And spare me half the fucking respect I give you.
I will. Right after you love me with half the heart I love you with, asshole.
Say, how exactly is irritating me supposed to inspire tenderness?
It's complicated. I'm a very complex person like that.
The hell you are, you absolute simpleton.
If I'm so simple, how come you can't keep up?
I'd have to be stupid to understand the thoughts of the stupids.
Or get over yourself.
Maybe later. For now, get in the car. We're leaving.
Where are we going? The bottom of the ocean, dumbass. I already told you.
I don't know yet. I don't want to leave before the corpses float up or something.
These two are genuinely a hair's width away from killing each other. And at the rate that they're going, it's pretty much a guarantee. It seems like all of this was just a step too far for Andrew, and now here we are. Though it does end with them joking about Ashley being an idiot and getting out of here. Ashley ponders if they're fine now, as we see a close-up of the meat cleaver Andrew used in the vision, just waiting in the back seat. I don't know about you, but I don't think that the vision Ashley saw has been averted whatsoever. So much of this chapter has made Andrew look like some sort of attack dog that Ashley keeps on a leash to enact whatever horrible machination she wants to enact. But now, it looks like that grip is starting to break, bit by bit. And I don't see this ending well for either of them. Okay, let's take stock of the situation we're in, shall we? We have these people getting a handout from damages caused, seemingly from the water company which is hunting down Andrew and Ashley, which they managed to get around at the same time as the start of the quarantine, which was being used as a cover to harvest organs. They also have the death certificates for the kids, dated around the time in which Ashley was speaking to their mother, so she would know for a fact that her kids were still alive in spite of the certificate stating otherwise. Now, they have a new house, seem more surprised than relieved to see their kids alive, and have conspicuously avoided mentioning the aforementioned death certificates. What a picture that paints. And what exactly are we basing this offer of help on, Renee? Your good word? Yeah, nah, I don't think so.
Well, about Ashley. I wish you wouldn't talk about her that way. Let's not fight. There's a solution here somewhere, I'm sure. What were those death certificates about anyway?
It's a life insurance scam, nothing more.
How's that work?
There's this doctor, a surgeon, actually. After they told us you'd be stuck in the apartment, we got referred to him. As far as the records are concerned, you died from the parasites.
I didn't even know I had any life insurance.
Well, I got it for you two after you got quarantined.
Kinda curious that they let you do that. So then when we died, were you in on it?
Of course not! I really thought you died! They said your bodies had to be burned because of the parasites. That's why I never got to confirm it myself.
She's full of shit.
Yeah, I'll say. So you got in on a life insurance scam that showed that they died and knew it was a scam, but you also thought that they actually died because of parasites, but thought that they got cremated? Kind of makes this a bit of an underreaction then, doesn't it? Oh, I really thought that you had died. That's why I said you should have called me before you showed up from, you know, being reduced to ash. She's completely full of crap. Her lies unravel in seconds. Say what you will about Andrew, but at least he can keep a story straight. Frankly, I don't even know how anyone could have thought that she wasn't lying through her teeth. You would have to actively not be paying attention to what's going on. Also explains why she was so eager to leave in the first episode's flashbacks, huh? She knew what was going to happen. There's just no way to buy her story when you consider all the information. Hey, remember this? It's amazing what money can buy when you have a job. How the fuck would she know? She's the one who sold her children to an organ harvester. She's got no right to lecture anyone on the rewards of labor. My contempt for her children specifically put aside, there are very few words that convey the depths of my hatred towards people like Renee, who pull stunts like this. I despise her. Hell, I think I might be starting to see a couple of reasons why her kids turned out as horrific as they did. No wonder Andrew isn't interested, which their mother doesn't seem capable of comprehending. To her, it doesn't make any sense as to why her kid wouldn't be interested in her oh-so-sincere offer off the back of her completely flawless explanation for how this mess came into being. Until, of course, Renee comes to her own conclusion, and it is... it is an absolute banger of an explanation, let me tell you.
Where are you going?
I have to finish setting this thing up for her.
Oh, come on. Forget about this nonsense. We can sort out the documents. Hell, you can even live here if that doesn't work out. You can leave this whole mess behind you just like that.
That's okay. I'm not really interested.
What? But that doesn't make any sense. Why would you not... Ah, I get it.
Huh?
You fuck her.
You get it? You get banger, as in bang her? I am getting shot in the streets for that one, aren't I? Anyway, being the prankster that she is, Ashley decides now would be a fantastic time to show up, barge in, and get one last tormenting jab at their mother by playing into this.
I knew something was off. How did I fuck up so bad? I'm the worst mother ever.
No, I mean, yes, you are, but I have
I'm
never...
back!
No, of all times.
I got the money! Did you miss me, handsome? Did you?
I want to die! Ugh, whatever! Summon the fucking demon already!
It really is incredible how this game says and does such horrific things while simultaneously making them the funniest events possible. With that, we send this, let's be fair, deserving scum straight to the Shadow Realm. Bye-bye, Renee. If that is your real name, I genuinely do not know, and I do not respect you enough to look into it. May you burn in hell. Oh, and you too, Douglas, I guess. The demon upholds their end of the deal and recharges the trinket, but not without inspecting Andrew.
Thank you!
What? Hello? This is the brother.
That's right, my pride and joy. And no, you can't have his soul, it's mine.
The demon says that it will summon her again, but tells her to bring Andrew next time, whatever that means. Regardless though, they now have a pair of corpses to deal with, once Ashley's done stabbing them anyway. The pair of them begin to dispose of the bodies, including unscrewing a nearby drain to flow everything down, at Ashley's suggestion.
How to go about this? We can't leave behind a mess.
Well, there's a drain right there.
Ah, right you are.
See? Not a dumbass all the time.
No, just dumb and an ass.
Wow, check out this smart ass right here.
Good to see you both in such high spirits after that. And while Andrew's clearing it out, Ashley decides to test her luck and calls him Andy. Bad move on her part.
That's gross, Andy.
Bold of you to call me that when I'm armed.
You wouldn't!
You hear you?
Ah, no, don't do that! No, I'll fucking kill you in your sleep!
Any last words?
Andrew, I'm sorry, I apologize!
Fine, you were spared. For now. Drain works, let's get this over with.
Time to get to work chopping up mommy and daddy dearest.
You and your brother dismember your parents, and disembowel them, and decapitate them. You also make a mental note about Andrew. Instead of oscillating between panic and apathy like you expected him to. Who is it?
What?
No, nothing. Andrew.
If you're tired, I can take care of the rest.
What? No, it's really nothing.
I must be seeing things.
What?
Do you think I'd ever bear witness to you being distraught over our parents' corpses?
Oh. Right.
Then again, I bet you're just moping over finally getting your hands dirty.
And, you?
What?
Are you doing alright?
As alright as I can be, considering the circumstances.
That's good.
You're being weird.
Look who's talking.
Alright, enough time wasted.
Andrew continues casually butchering your parents. Incidentally, there's a knot in your stomach.
Ooh, now that's unexpected. Following that, the two of them run around the place using whatever they have to hand to get rid of the evidence. One of those involved blending up the innards of their victims, and Andrew is genuinely surprised that Ashley didn't offer him a parent smoothie.
How's that? Good as gone.
I'm genuinely surprised you didn't offer me any.
What, you want a disease or something? Of course I wouldn't offer you raw meat. You really take me for an idiot, don't you?
I take you for what you are, idiot.
Watch your mouth. This idiot just poured your parents down the drain.
Alright, that was pretty smart, I guess. For an idiot.
Alas, he isn't getting out of this not eating their parents, because to the surprise of absolutely no one, Ashley decides to make a soup out of the remains and eat it. So she does that.
I'm eating too.
Of course! This is the last hearty home-cooked meal for a while, after all.
I suppose.
That's right! Now say ah! Unexpected. Well, how is it?
It's okay.
Just okay.
I mean, it's better than last time, but...
Oh, why are you so picky?
It's really dry. You overcooked it or something.
Mom's just a dry person, alright? And how the hell is it dry? This is soup!
No, Mom should be more salty. This is just bland and dry. I rate this waste of ingredients out of 10. Would not eat again.
You will retract that statement at once! I slave away in the kitchen for you, and this is the thanks I get?
Sorry, you can't cook.
You're not forgiven!
Oh.
Jackass, eat shit and die!
Well, this food is certainly shit. Come on, I'm joking. It's not that bad. It's fine.
More than fine!
Yes, it's fantastic in a way my dumbass can't appreciate. How about that? Why, yes, indeed. This cooking is beyond my mortal comprehension.
Correct.
An out-of-this-world culinary experience which the likes of me cannot even taste properly. Because my taste buds simply aren't evolved enough to sense all the subtleties. Truly, when I said waste of ingredients, I meant it's a waste to feed it to me. Food of this caliber should only be fed to kings. No, gods.
That's more like it.
So exquisite is your cooking that I will write you a shitty poem about it.
Oh, God.
Lo and behold, I implore you, come feast your eyes on her. Oh, and there is food too. To ease your weary soul, she's brewed a broth to give you quite the fright. There must be magic on her fingertips to cook such a delight. And yet the meat is drier than her lips midnight.
Truly a wordsmith, worthy of the man to hang on a tick. What was that last part?
And the meat isn't dry. God damn, it's just right. Whatever. Humans are hard to cook. I'll get it next time.
What next time? Oh, whatever. Anyhow.
Compared to how he's been throughout the rest of the game, Andrew's demeanor here is downright relaxed. He's not stressed or hostile, he's honestly pretty upbeat about the whole affair, all things considered. I wouldn't exactly say he's happy, but his banter with Ashley is a lot more akin to all the previous scenes in the game. It's an improvement from the constant anger and shouting matches. I mean, if you want to call barely reacting to slaughter an improvement. I mean, compared to how he was back at the motel, he's acting downright friendly. Due to the fact that Ashley is basically worthless at conveying information in a concise and understandable manner, when Andrew suggests that Ashley take a nap to see if they'll have a vision of the future that might be able to warn them of any potential dangers, he suggests that they try and let him see a vision instead. Since they're not totally sure if it'll work for him, the solution they come up with is to try and have them both see a vision by holding hands while they sleep to see if it works. Sure, why not?
Fuck this! How am I supposed to sleep after you went and said something so off color? And it doesn't help at all, Mom said something outrageous too.
Oh yeah, I heard that!
Oh, you did, huh? So that's what that little show was about earlier.
Did you see her face? That was great! I hope she regretted her entire life just then.
I'm pretty sure she just regretted giving birth to us.
I'll take it. If for once she regretted both of us, then I'm happy. What?
Nothing. Good night.
Doesn't take long before sleep takes over.
Enter the visionscape! Well, this is different. Ashley finds herself in front of a television set, piles of drawings, a pink plushie, and surrounded by darkness, and crayons within that darkness. Put the pink plushie amongst the drawings and you get a red crayon, and the TV switches on to nothing but static. Looking at the pictures gives us a rough idea of the routes to take, and once we gather up all the crayons and give them to the plushie, TV begins pulsating.
The TV and you watch each other. More importantly, this episode is titled Leyley and Leyley Alone.
We're then sent to another part of the dream, into a rundown looking house. A green plushie, a yellowy lime green plushie, and a plushie wearing a hat are sat at the table, while the pink plushie is sat in the corner. The lime green plushie is named the mother plushie, and the hat wearing one is called the father plushie. You can pick up the stool and put it next to the table. Then you can go and get the pink plushie and bring it over. Not that it'll do anything. No matter what you do, the pink plushie just will not be able to sit at the table. The solution to the puzzle is to take the green plushie and put it next to the pink plushie in the corner. Now, sections like this are heavily symbolic, and this one in particular is a representation of Ashley's psychological state. Each plushie represents a character, and just in case calling the lime green plushie the mother plushie wasn't doing it for you, that one represents Renee. The father plushie then represents Douglas. Ergo, the pink and green plush represent Ashley and Andrew respectively. They all correspond to their respective characters' eye colors and the text used for their dialogues, as well as a small aside. The only real exception to this is the father, but he's such a non-entity that, like, whatever. There's a couple of things worth noting. If you recall earlier, during the dinner sequence, Ashley didn't even get a proper chair. She got a stepladder. Now this is replicated here with the stool that she keeps falling off of. This seems to heavily imply that Ashley wasn't exactly welcome in the family dynamic, either as a child or in the here and now, before, we murdered them. This entire sequence could be seen as being a representation of a lot of Ashley's childhood, and a lot of it seems to suggest isolation and loneliness, only ever alleviated by Andrew. When they're together, the narration says that they look happy. Establishing this, we can take a look at the next section. We see a purple and a yellow plushie, a cooking pot, a chest, and a trash can, but those last two have a lock symbol over them. To solve this puzzle, we have to take the Andrew plushie and place it between the purple and yellow plushies. Flowers bloom, and the chest and trash can unlock. If you interact with the Andrew plushie further, you get some dialogue describing it as a ladies' man. If you put the Ashley plushie down instead, the buds wilt and die. Let's put on our thinking caps for a second. We can figure out that the yellow plushie is Julia, and that the purple plushie is Nina. Julia is pretty easy to identify, since she follows the eyes and text color convention as the others, and though there's nothing really like that to identify Nina, we can tell that the purple plushie is her because Ashley recreates her demise with it in order to solve the puzzle, by throwing it into the crate. Both of these girls had a crush on Andrew, and both of them were friends with Ashley, though they seem to have had a strained relationship with her at best. Aside from throwing Nina into the crate, to progress you have to throw the mother and father plushies into the pot, and the Julia one into the trash. Doing this opens up a new path towards the moon and the cage. Picking up the green plush, you get the text, "Got the best thing in the world." Ashley then puts the green plush in the cage, and doing this opens up a path to the next section. The third section of the dream shows a series of portraits to which Ashley has to pick the correct item to place on a pedestal in order to continue. The first portrait, which basically seems to be here entirely to make sure that you understand how this is going to work, is titled Enamored Evening and seems to depict a couple, the mother and father plushie, so their parents. You get to pick between a knife and some flowers. Once you put the flowers on the pedestal and the knife in the nearby bin, you can move into the next room, where you're greeted with this. 2 doors, 2 portraits, and 3 items. The portraits are titled Once Upon a Lousy Life and The End. The items being a heart, a broken heart, and sunshine. The colors used in the portraits are once again representative of each character, similar to the previous section. Pink for Ashley, green for Andrew, and yellow seems to be for Julia. Remembering how this worked, sunshine I would guess represents happiness, so that's first. Ashley pretty much only seems happy when she's around Andrew, so that makes sense. A broken heart isn't too difficult to figure out, either heartbreak or sadness. Ashley isn't too big on Andrew and Julia's relationship, so that's second, and the heart third because Julia and Andrew were dating. And this opens up the door on the right, yeah, that makes sense. This seems to reinforce what we've been learning throughout the rest of the episodes, albeit a bit more explicitly, especially following on from the previous section. It's also from Ashley's points of view, so that adds some weight to this. A big reason that Ashley seems to dislike the relationship between Andrew and Julia is because throughout her entire life, no one seems to really care for her that much other than Andrew, and the relationship between him and Julia, from Ashley's perspective, is essentially Julia taking Andrew away from her. It's basically the exact same logic that led to what happened with Nina, and we all know how that ended up going. So I think that all makes sense. So then I think, okay, so how do we get on the door on the left? And then I take another second to look at the portraits, and the thought occurs to me. If we put the heart down first, the sunshine second, and the broken heart third. Well, that's deeply concerning. Somehow it seems like a highly questionable idea to take this route. You know what, game? I couldn't agree with you more. Let's go with the other door instead. It seems like the sane path to take. Enter? Yes, please. So in this route, there's a bunch of souls scattered around the place, and Ashley has to collect them in a bottle. Once she's done, a darkened soul appears. When Ashley speaks to it, the color of the text implies that it's Andrew. When Ashley wakes up, she panics momentarily when Andrew isn't next to her, but he's just in the next room over. Andrew says that he couldn't sleep, and Ashley really can't make heads nor tails of what her vision was trying to convey. Still, nothing bad happened, so they're probably good to just move on. And so with that, they go to get rid of what remains of their parents.
I hate you.
You and me both, Andy.
It's not my fault. The stupid bag ripped on its own.
I don't care! Hurry up and pick them up!
And so she does, and they get in the car.
Vroom vroom.
They find the bridge, dump the bodies over the edge, and Ashley suggests that they say something. Not really for her own sake, but for Andrew's. She doesn't care, but she thought that he did, which he admits that he did. Past tense.
Fine, let me think.
Take your time.
Dear Mom and Dad, thanks for giving me life. It's been awful. Thanks for giving Ashley life, too. She, too, has been awful.
Hey!
Oh, Andrew really does get the best lines, doesn't he? God damn it. Hysterics aside, beyond that, Andrew really does not seem to have anything to say to send his folks off. Given everything, I suppose it's hard to blame him. Ashley finds herself to be a tad concerned by Andrew's eulogy, thinking to herself that maybe he has changed after all. She also says that he probably overlooked something and that they are absolutely going to get arrested, but since she has her trinket, they'll be fine and able to stay ahead of any incoming dangers. Just checking to see if she can still unsettle him and remind him how stuck with her he is, I guess.
I don't know. Didn't you just say the last vision was useless?
Foolish Andrew! If we'd be in trouble, surely the vision would have shown me that instead.
You're so confident in pulling these assumptions out of your ass. But I hope you're right.
Don't you worry, just leave it all to me. But anyway, what should we do now?
Leave it all to you, huh?
Our next move, Andrew. Plan it.
Well... The money has bought us some time, but we still need to find ourselves new identities.
Do we really, though? Can we just live in the car and mug random people for a living?
That's just not going to work for very long. Every time we try our luck, we're more likely to get caught.
Then can't we buy fake identities? I know people do that sometimes.
Point me to the guy who sells them and I'll get right on that.
Ah, that cultist club seems like a really sketchy spot. Maybe someone there knows someone who sells them.
Probably not, though.
Stop being such a defeatist. Let's go take a little look-see.
It's a crap idea to go anywhere near where we killed that guy.
Also, that motel was the only one letting us stay with cash only.
Fine. But we're leaving the car in some random parking lot. Since there's definitely an ongoing investigation for that hitman's death.
Right, cool, whatever. Let's get going.
I had a mole here?
You coming or what?
In a minute. Let me finish this.
Waste of time and money. Love it.
Uh-huh. Glad to hear it.
Somehow, it seems like a highly questionable idea to take this route. You know what, game? I couldn't agree with you more, but I have been on a quest to make all of the worst possible choices imaginable. I have made my terrible decision, and I'm committing to it anyway. In this room, we find 4 more pictures, and the Andrew plushie in a cage. On the top right, we see a picture titled Siblings, and a key next to it. We use the key to get the plushie, and then go from portrait to portrait. Friends. Classmates. Parents. And then the cage opens up, Ashley throws the Andrew plush inside, and the whole room goes dark. Just in case you don't get it, this is showing how Andrew had to be basically everything for Ashley, all at once, while they were growing up. He had to be her parents, her siblings, her classmate, and her friend. There was never any distinction between all of these things. And Ashley got a bit attached because of that. If you check the names again, parents has been changed to family, and classmates to soulmates. The thing about these relationships is they aren't meant to intersect to this degree. There are certain lines family can't cross, but friends and classmates can. Once we're all done here, the demon shows up, and once we interact with it, we see our vision.
Any for your thoughts?
No deal.
Oh, come on. Give me one word.
Mortifying.
Oh dear God. All right. Okay. Hold on a second. Wait, hang on. I've got something for this. Bear with me. Just bear with me a second. Here we go.
Incorrect!
So, yeah. This right here is the reason why this game received any amount of controversy. It was not all of the horrific cannibalism, it was not the edgy back and forths between these two, it was not their criminal escapades. It was this. It's all about this moment, and what it made clear about the game from this point onwards. I'm the kind of person who likes to call a spade, so let's just say it as bluntly as possible and get it out of the way, shall we? The relationship between Andrew and Ashley has the capacity to be incestuous. Woohoo! We will return to that bombshell shortly. We need to wrap up the aftermath of this vision before we get into that topic. So, how did the siblings react to this little bit of information? It didn't show them getting caught, so, they've got that going for them. Ashley wakes up, Andrew might have seen the vision, and the conversation goes pretty much exactly as you'd expect.
Whoa, shit, you're awake.
Well, hello to you too.
Yeah, good morning, or evening, I guess, whatever.
Right. So, hey, did you get a vision?
Probably not.
Really? You see dreams like that a lot then?
I don't!
So you did see it.
Quite the vision, huh? Big brother.
Fucking never say that again.
Screw you!
Yeah, you just might.
Following a bit of back and forth, Andrew directly asks Ashley to confirm that it's never going to come to that. And you get to answer. Regrettably for him, at this point I have been through far too much. I have gazed into the abyss, a cosmic void you might say, and decided, screw it. Sanity is dead and this is hilarious. Let's just descend into this pit of uncomfortable madness and see what happens.
Never say never, Andrew, my dear.
Oh my fucking god! It's not funny! Don't joke about this!
Why? Am I getting your hopes up? Maybe something else? Say, did that vision get you?
I'm out of here!
Why is this such a massive issue to you? We've done way worse things together. I honestly figured it would happen eventually.
Why are you like this? Why would you say this? Why would you think this?
Wow. What a landmine, huh?
Well, yeah? Forget this whole thing!
Fine. But that was clearly a vision, so it'll probably come up sooner or later.
Well, in your last vision, a guy slit our throats, yet here we are. Let's just leave it at that.
Alright then. If you say so.
So, sweeping that under the rug, we go and dispose of the parents.
I hate you.
Vroom, vroom.
When they get to the bridge, Andrew is a lot more relaxed and chilled out. He even indulges Ashley in a contest to see how far they can throw their parents' skulls. You know, for some reason, the sheer unhingedness of the situation didn't occur to me until I said that out loud, but there it is. Anyway, he cheats. The bastard.
Oh, what's that? Looks like I won.
Filthy cheat!
Nope, you never said pushing wasn't allowed.
Oh yeah? Well, here's your fucking prize, jackass! It's a fist to the face!
Oh, a hug! Oh, why, thank you.
You're a little different lately.
Am I not fun anymore?
More like... Let me think. How have you been sleeping lately?
Are you actually looking for a fight?
I'm not talking about the vision, I just mean in general. Your insomnia and nightmares, how are those?
Been decent, all things considered.
Yeah. Unexpectedly, you seem to be doing just fine.
Well, don't be happy for me or anything.
Andy's all grown and doesn't need me anymore.
Andy is dead. I don't think he needs anything. Even so, there's the trinket too. You're apparently the only one allowed to use it, so there's that.
I don't know about that, but it certainly showed me one way to keep him around. I suppose.
Right. I'm honestly pissed we don't know what's coming next. It's really hard to plan what to do now.
Ah, right. So what do we do?
Though the money has helped, the pair of them aren't in a great position still. Without too many other options, they plan to return to the motel, which will let them stay there without any ID, and offers them an opportunity to scout around to some of the shadier spots for someone who might be able to provide fake IDs so that they can get around the worst of their problems. Andrew goes to finish a cigarette first, and we see a demonic eye open up on his palm. Andrew directly asks Ashley to confirm that it's never going to come to that. And you get to answer. And like anyone with anything that even resembles anything even approximating any amount of basic sense, I select never. Following that, we get a bit of insight into Ashley's thought process here. Namely, that it genuinely doesn't make a difference to her. All that matters is that Andrew is around. So if he's open to it, she'll indulge him. She even calls it leverage, but because he's vocally opposed to the idea, pushing it with him would tip that leverage into his favor, so she's just gonna forget about it. Why does she need leverage on him though? The whole suffocating a child thing? I kind of feel like that's the least of their worries after the multitude of corpses breaking and entering Grand Theft Auto and just about everything else that they've done. Is it just to keep him around? Why wouldn't he want to be around her at this stage? Like, clearly he was fine with the parenticide, and, well, that vision happened, so while it's not a guarantee, it's certainly within the realms of possibility. Why the heck does she need leverage on him at this point? Is that just how she is? Or is there more to it than that? From there, the two of them throw their parents' bodies into the ocean, give a very passive-aggressive eulogy, and decide to head back to the motel and get the hell out of Dodge. And so concludes episode 2, Graves. I have a lot of thoughts on this. First though, let's just take a moment. Man, they really did just eat their parents, huh? That really was just the plot of this episode, wasn't it? So episode 2 of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley was the episode that changed essentially everything for the game, in quite a few ways. It's a very significant chapter, and one that enormously set the stage for what the game would end up becoming, but it was also the chapter that made me want to start this entire project. Partly for, well, what I assume is the blatantly obvious at this point, but also because of the things that happened external to the game itself. Those two things are in fact heavily tied into one another, and are part of the reason why this project is the way that it is, that is to say, why I've structured it the way that I have. If you went over this episode very carefully, looked at just about every bit of information that it gave you, you could figure out nearly everything that you'd need to know about both Andrew and Ashley. The episode provides so much detail that it almost completely gives away the rest of the entire game. Andrew is a very important part of this chapter in so many different ways. It's the first time we get a point of view other than Ashley. We learn more about how his mind works and his perspective on what's happening. Not only that, he's the main piece of the puzzle when it comes to how exactly the episode ends. And he's important in how this episode has been presented to us. And that tells us plenty about him and his character. First, I want to look at the way that the episode changed the direction of the narrative and our understanding of the Graves siblings, and then we'll talk about some of the other factors. And those factors are the reason I even began talking about this game in the first place. Let's start with the most obvious thing that the game changed, narrative-wise. I think you figured out what I was doing and what was going on pretty much the second I started doing the rewinds, but episode 2 is unique in that it features a pretty major divergence in the storyline. See, episode 1 was completely linear. There was absolutely nothing that you could do to change the overall story. Well, I tell a slight lie. There is a small thing that you can do that can influence chapter 3. You know when you go and get the batteries for the TV remote? You can actually opt to keep them. and that will let you do something in Chapter 3, which will let you unlock the Vision Room, and don't trust me, we'll talk about the Vision Room when it's relevant, but that's it. That's the most that you can do to impact the plot. Other than that, Episode 1 is completely linear. Episode 2, on the other hand, has a variety of different outcomes depending on your choices. And these choices are so extreme that the game doesn't even have a singular Chapter 3. The fracture it creates splits the story down two different paths, burial and decay. Just to be clear, these are two completely different episodes with two completely different narratives. Information transmits between the two of them though. For example, we see a fair bit of Andrew's time in high school in the decay path. That all still happened in the burial path, it's just not necessarily the focus of that pathway. The main point in Divergence for how you get there is how Andrew responds to his parents. If he chooses to reflect on the offer they make, that puts you onto the decay route. If he rejects it outright, that puts you onto burial. But there is a fair degree of modularity to it as well in ways that I wasn't able to show. For example, if Ashley chooses to watch their parents while Andrew goes to get the money instead of the other way around, you're locked into decay because once everything is said and done, Ashley's inability to trust Andrew manifests as her going on a tirade where she insults Andrew repeatedly about how if she had left Andrew there alone, he would have sided with their parents. And she also goes on about how he just blames her for everything so he doesn't have to feel bad. And also about not knowing why Andrew keeps her around because she's not pretty and he can't screw her. Without the context of burial, this is all kinds of completely unhinged to say. The only real thing that even related to it in any capacity was her accusing him of essentially the same thing with regards to the lady back in the apartment complex. With the context of burial, it's also completely unhinged, but at least you know exactly where her thought process is at. And Andrew is so bitter about all of this, it locks you into the decay path. Another example is if you shoot the hitman only once. Then Ashley's gun still has bullets. So during the vision sequence, she gets the option to shoot Andrew. She will unload the entire thing into him, crying and screaming the entire time. Or she can decide that she's fine with this and will just let Andrew finish her off. I find how Ashley reacts to this really noticeable. Without her weapon, she's all but powerless and begging Andrew not to do it. With a weapon though, she can just choose to let him do it and is almost casual about the whole affair. Almost. It's only if the gun doesn't have any rounds that Andrew finishes her off without any hesitation whatsoever, so my choice to empty the whole clip into the hitman is directly tied to the path that I got. Ashley didn't have any bullets, so she doesn't really have the option to shoot him. Plus there's a bunch of potential endings within the decay route that are completely locked off unless you have bullets, because you need to shoot Andrew in the vision to go down that path. It's not just the gun either though. Like you saw, it's entirely possible to go down the burial route without having the questionable cutscene, depending on which one of these doors you opt to go down. You can go down that route with Andrew giving the most lackluster eulogy in history. Things have certainly gotten very fractal. Heck, even that questionable cutscene can send you down a slightly divergent path, but we'll talk about that, either when it's funniest to or most relevant to, whichever one comes first. Focusing more on the episode itself rather than the consequences it will have for our future dalliances of wanting to throw ourselves off a cliff, Episode 2 gave us way more to work with than Episode 1 did. This chapter is very good at giving us small pieces of information, sometimes only very loosely implied in text, and sometimes entirely visually, that can be used for making inferences about the characters and their history. My favourite example of this is easily the burial vision room, depicting Ashley's home life, and I love it because it will just flat out give you the wrong answers. The stool is a complete red herring. It does absolutely nothing. There is no way to put Ashley with the rest of the family here. You are wasting your time. Except no, you aren't. Because in using it, and it failing, that tells you about Ashley's place within the Graves family. Putting Ashley's plushie next to Julia and Nina's is a waste of time, except you can extrapolate her dynamic with her friends from it as the flowers wilt. Small stuff like that is really helpful, but it also trains you to be aware that these sequences function this way, that they are giving you small hints that you can extrapolate from. I think the most important bit of information we've gained, though, is the insight into the Andy and Leyley dynamic. And on that note, did anyone notice that in these sequences, it ends with Ashley putting the Andrew plush in a cage?
As in, you literally have to put them in a cage to progress the plot. You know, symbolism. And the way that she keeps doing it, it seems intentional, right?
When it comes to talking about Andrew and Ashley's relationship, being frank, it's a mess. It is complicated, it is wrapped up in 2 decades worth of continuous bullshit, and in many regards, it seems highly contradictory. And a lot of that stems from the Andy and Leyley thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but Andrew and Ashley do seem to view Andy and Leyley as almost completely different entities to themselves. At the same time, they also view this distinction very differently to one another.
To put it incredibly simply, Ashley views the dynamic positively, while Andrew views it negatively. The more that you expand on that, the more reasons you find out for how the dynamic ended up like this. Episode 1 showed signs of it, but episode 2 is where this became a reoccurring theme with the two of them. And as we progress into episode 3, we will see the extent to which this dynamic has influenced the pair of them.
This chapter was particularly important for Andrew, who's come out of this looking... well, it's easy to call him a victim in a lot of ways. By his mother's own admission, he was made to raise Ashley, and Ashley then proceeded to drag him into getting someone killed, blackmailed him, held that over his head for the next decade, has just been sitting on that information this entire time, interfering with every aspect of his life, and forcing him to handle all the horrific stuff she wants to do, but seems incapable of actually doing herself. Be it because she doesn't think she physically can, or because him doing it creates a barrier between her and the consequences of her actions.
But when I said that it's easy to view Andrew as a victim in a lot of ways, I meant that in the most literal way possible. It is easy to view him like this in a lot of different ways. Not that viewing him this way is accurate. At least not entirely and not exclusively.
Putting that aside for the moment though, Ashley's reaction to Andrew, depending on which path you're on, is interesting. I find it really telling how in the decay route, she's pleased by Andrew's freaked out reaction, but is disturbed by his nonplussed reaction in Burial. To her, it's more Andrew and less Andy. She's getting more afraid of him. Like we saw, Ashley will directly say to Andrew's face that she doesn't like Andrew, but she will say that she likes Andy. Likewise, Andrew says that he hates Leyley, but will confirm that he likes Ashley. But Andy and Leyley are not literally different people to Andrew and Ashley. What's happening here is that they're both talking about the dynamics of their relationship and how they themselves see it. And they both view this in very different ways, and have different reasons for viewing it in the way that they do. Andy is a version of Andrew who is a lot meeker and just sort of goes along with whatever the people around him want. He's the responsible one, the easy child. This is the Andy that had to raise Ashley. Various dream and vision sequences tell us that he was the only one who seemed to like her in literally any capacity whatsoever. In his own words, Andrew considers Andy to be spineless. And after the events of episode 1, he's not willing to be Andy anymore. Now, broadly speaking, he's essentially making a statement that he isn't going to keep being some spineless little doormat extraordinaire. You know, character development, what a concept. But on a more personal level, he's essentially saying directly to Ashley that the dynamic that they had as kids isn't something he's going to entertain any longer. Essentially, he's saying he's not going to let her boss him around. And he wavers on this a lot, giving in to smaller incidents, but as a whole, he's mostly been sticking to his guns on this. Whatever moments of weakness he's had at enforcing this, he's usually gone back to his original position of being very insistent that Andy is dead. On the other side of this, Ashley and Leyley consider Andy to be the best thing in the world. And if you combine that with the idea that Andrew had to all but raise Ashley because their parents passed the buck on to him, that really does go a long way to implying a lot. Their parents didn't bother with her for whatever reason, and her friends don't even seem to like her. That just leaves Andrew as the only person who was actually with her. But if that's the case, then Andrew being around Ashley during their childhood isn't even indicative of him actually liking her, but of a job that he had forced onto him. That is a breeding ground for resentment, and Andrew most certainly resents Leyley. Ashley constantly tries to get Andrew to go back to being Andy, and she does this in a bunch of ways, from trying to get him to just accept the nickname, to trying to manipulate the events in some way, to just pestering him over and over until she wears him down and he gives up, either to just get her to stop or sheer exhaustion takes over. Think about how exactly this is framed. Andrew detests the Andy and Leyley bit, a bit they formed when they were children. He wants them to move past it. It's not really all that hard to understand why if you think about how exactly it's implied he was raised. Don't worry, the reality of that is much worse, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Ashley, on the other hand, adores the Andy and Leyley bit. She keeps trying to bring it back however she can. She doesn't want to move beyond it. In essence, she doesn't seem to want to grow up. At the very least, it's more about having this idealized version of the dynamic that she wants to remain as is. But for that to work, Andrew has to be Andy, which he despises and is doing everything in his power to not be, because it means he's entirely subservient, not even to Ashley, but to Leyley, which he resents. This entire relationship is basically a tug of war where Ashley is trying to push him into the Andy and Leyley camp, which Andrew hates, while Andrew is trying to pull him into the Andrew and Ashley camp, which Ashley hates. Now, I don't know if you need me to tell you that these two desires are fundamentally incompatible with one another, but in case you do need me to tell you that these two desires are fundamentally incompatible with one another, these two desires are fundamentally incompatible with one another. They simply cannot coexist. There is no way for Andrew to be both totally free to do as he pleases and also utterly subservient to Ashley with no free will, desire, or ability to object to her insane whims. What compromise do you think is possible here exactly? Either one of them breaks and gives up on something, or one or both of them die. One of these has to break. Unless you count the incest, of course. Alright. We've been putting it off for long enough. Let's get into it. You remember this chart, where I talk about the different components of the coffin of Andy and Leyley that made it what it was? This right here. The relationship between Andrew and Ashley as a whole. This is the fourth and final component of the game. To be clear, I'm not talking about any single one component of their relationship when I say that. I mean the whole messy affair. The writing, the mechanics, the drawings, everything else in the game is in service to these two and the unfathomably toxic relationship that they have. Seeing how it evolved, how it got here, where it progresses or degresses to, and what the narrative has to say about all of it, that's the reason we're here. Just that now incest is a part of the dynamic that we have to consider, because that is apparently a factor in their relationship. And isn't it interesting how that particular revelation was framed? We see it near entirely through Ashley's perspective, and the sequence of events is, she keeps getting Andrew to go along with her more and more psychotic actions, and we see as she is getting more and more frightened by him. And then we get to the parents, and Andrew is unbothered. And that is of far greater concern to Ashley than the decay route, where he is bothered by what they're doing. In fact, she's outright pleased when Andrew is crying over what's being done, but when he's not freaking out, she's uncomfortable. She's getting more and more afraid of him, and that somehow results in this. Andrew being bothered seems to reflect how he acted when he was a kid, freaking out, emotionally distraught. These are both Andy reactions as far as Ashley is concerned. If Andrew is freaking out, then he's Andy. Him not freaking out at all is an Andrew reaction, as is Andrew attacking her in the apartment complex if her reflection after the decay vision is anything to go by. But what really makes it stand out to me is the fact that when presented with the option to shoot it down, we see Ashley's internal thought process. That she's just indifferent to the entire affair. Like, she'll do it if it'll keep Andrew around, but if he's gonna just hang around anyway, then she won't. It doesn't make much of a difference to her. Now, forgive me for being blunt about it, but Ashley doesn't exactly strike me as the kind of person who cares all that much about societal expectation or convention. She's shown borderline, if not outright total disregard for it at nearly every single opportunity presented to her. She shows absolutely no hesitation at resorting to cannibalism, she's unwilling to even pretend to play nice with her parents, she's clearly got no problems with getting people killed or sacrificing their souls to power up her trinket, and even when not dismissing the possibility out of hand, her main argument for why it's fine is that they've committed far worse atrocities than that. It occurs to me that if she was into the idea of her and Andrew's relationship developing down that direction, she would be actively enthusiastic about it, wouldn't she? And she has done some truly psychotic things in the name of keeping other people away from Andrew, been pushing the boundaries with him a lot. If she was into the idea, then it might help to explain some of her actions. But when the question is seriously presented and you choose to confirm that it won't go down that route, now she's indifferent to the whole thing. It gives this whole scenario this air of control to an extent. Like, this is just a method of keeping Andrew around and subservient. Intimacy is just a tool as far as Ashley's concerned. Is that what's going on here? To an extent, sure. That's part of it, but there's more to it than that. See, ignoring the question of what exactly has warped her brain to the extent that she feels the need to be prepared to offer this plan of Ashley's is entirely contingent on one single prerequisite. Without it, this plan is nothing but, at best, complete and utter delusion at its most charitable. Were I not feeling particularly charitable, I'd use some other choice words, most of them being curses. But this whole thing relies on one factor, and without it, none of this can work. Andrew needs to be open to the idea of his and Ashley's relationship ending up this way. None of this works without Andrew wanting this. And Andrew's been quite vocal about this not being the case, right? Tell me something. Does this look like the face of someone who is utterly repulsed by what they just saw? Because to me, that looks like the face of someone who is embarrassed and flustered, not disgusted. And I mean, like, the vision clearly proved that this was possible. Think about it. The way the visions seem to work is that unless a divergence is made, then it will happen. The last vision that they saw was of the hitman, who would have gotten them if not for the vision. The act of seeing the vision means that the outcome can be changed. So if they didn't see the vision, then this would have been how things ended up, right? But even then, Andrew had to be open to the idea. It's something he is capable of doing. Then again, he's also capable of outright killing Ashley, if we're going by that logic. See, this is why I called Andrew the linchpin in how this episode works. Because when all is said and done, no matter what choice you make, it's how Andrew feels at the end of it that determines which path you're on. He's clearly capable of both of these things, which means to an extent, he feels both of these things at the same time. Kind of like how he both hates Leyley and claims to like Ashley, both at the same time. At least, that's how it appears. Because while we see the vision, there is a question of how exactly the two of them ended up at that point, and that can further impact how we assess this entire situation. Based on how Ashley's been acting, it wouldn't be an unreasonable assumption to make that Ashley is eroding these barriers intentionally, would it? It's a way to keep him around, apparently that's all she cares about, so if she erodes those barriers, then that's an option she's got, if only as a method of manipulation. To my mind, how they got here matters. If Ashley kept pestering Andrew into this, pushing those boundaries over and over again until they ended up at this stage, that carries a different weight to if they both jumped into this completely willingly, or if Andrew beat her up to make her do this. You get my meaning. How they got here is something I think is important to know. You know, there's no polite way of putting it, but like, looking at it, damn, they really did a number on each other, didn't they? There's bites and nail marks all over, some bruises, and I swear it looks like Ashley's been crying. Good lord. Like I said, you could go seeking out every single detail in Chapter 2 and come to the correct conclusions from it alone, but I think that it's best if we let ourselves learn about these little tidbits as we go into Chapter 3. But before we do that, I want to talk about the situation surrounding Chapter 2 first, because this was perhaps, more so than anything else, the reason why I wanted to talk about this game. If you recall, the Coffin of Andy and Leyley originally released on itch.io for its first chapter, and when the second chapter came out, both were released on Steam. Up until this point, the worst reputation that the game had was that it was an edgy and provocative game, but that was about as far as it went. The idea that Andrew and Ashley have a toxic, codependent relationship wasn't exactly something that the game was making any attempt to hide. It was arguably the central appeal of the game, and it was well received for how realistic a portrayal of such a dynamic it was, without being devoid of humor or intrigue. But then we get to this point, and the entire perception of the game completely shifted. Once people discovered that Andrew and Ashley's relationship could take this turn, the Coffin gained a reputation. It was now the incest game. Everything else about it, its amusing and well-written dialogue, its art style, the way that the game was constructed, the way that these two monsters were characterized in a dozen small subtle ways, to the fact that what had been seen was not them actually doing such a thing, but a vision of a potential future which the game had gone out of its way to establish and then remind players of multiple times could be avoided, as well as the fact that the game put up multiple roadblocks saying that this was an incredibly bad idea, and the fact that you have to have the presence of mind to come up with a solution to the puzzle needed to enter this path at all, it was all thrown out the window. It was just the incest game. People began to make the claim that the game not only contained this content, but that it was actively in support of it. And this got to the point that Nemlei got harassed. A lot. Apparently, they got doxxed. Just in case you aren't familiar with what doxing is, it's when your personal information, which would otherwise be private, is found, and then released to the public without your consent. This can be profoundly dangerous, because if someone wishes harm on you, now they know exactly who you are, where you are, and other information that would otherwise make it easier for them to do you harm. But ignoring direct harm, it can also be used indirectly to make one's life near impossible. Cases of doxing have led to people's workplaces being harassed for still employing the doxed person. Depending on the content of the doxing, it can make other employers less likely to hire you. In some contexts, it can damage pre-existing relationships. This can be such an effective tool, governments have used it to deal with dissenters. Debate the morality of doxing all you want. Under these circumstances, Nemlei made the quite reasonable decision to step away from having an online public presence. This included taking down their itch.io account, where the Coffin first released and where all their previous other games were being hosted. Thankfully, those other games are preserved and still available via third-party hosting, and people exchanging them amongst themselves. Nemlei also continued working on the Coffin of Andy and Leyley, in spite of the people who had been harassing them, which, you know, I find personally delightful. Regardless of anything else, I do respect Nemlei as a creator. I don't have a whole lot of respect for people who back down easily, because it shows a lack of conviction, and if you don't have conviction, you have nothing to offer, because you would throw everything you do have to offer away if selective pressure was applied. Anyone can have an idea, only those with conviction can see it through, and Nemlei has shown both a willingness to stand and fight and plenty of conviction. If nothing else, I respect the tenacity to dig your feet in the dirt and stand your ground. Now I don't know about you, but given everything that we've seen here, I think that there's more to this game than it just being the incest game. I think that it's portraying a codependent relationship in a truly fascinating way. I think that it's a very well-designed visual novel. I think that it has a very simple, but very appealing art style. I think both Andrew and Ashley are very well characterized, independent of their relationship to each other. At the same time, though, this is where I have to make a confession. I've been deceiving you slightly. Nothing major. A couple of clips have been placed slightly out of order. I've also excluded a few scenes. There's one after Andrew gets Ashley the terrible flavored soda where Ashley pulls this line.
Chemical burn on my tongue aside, I really am mighty pleased with this random act of kindness. What do you want in return? My virginity?
Jesus fucking Christ. That's enough of that.
I mean, if you go to a bar and a dude buys you a drink, isn't that the logical conclusion?
Which bar is this? I should go sometime.
Ooh, actually, that doesn't make sense. Not the bar browsing bitches are very virginal.
How judgmental of you.
Ashley... Why? When they were breaking into their parents' house as well, Ashley also makes a similarly coded remark.
I'll push you up after you've opened the latch.
You're just looking for an excuse to touch my ass.
Okay, two things. First of all, no. Secondly, like I need an excuse. Now hurry up and find something before I have to slap you.
On my ass or the face?
That, my lady, is for you to find out.
What the hell does that mean, Andrew? I did this to hide the reveal a little more. Obviously, I couldn't hide every single example, not that I want to because it was funnier to bring it up at a couple of points. Easily the most egregious lie that I told was the Cry About It update. That update was real, but this was not the image that accompanied it. This was. I straight up cropped out a large chunk of it and edited Andrew's expression to make him look more done with Ashley's unending bullshit. It was a multi-step process. I was fully cognizant of what I was doing at each step of the way. I straight up, intentionally lied to your face with the full intent of you believing me in my active lie. Why did I do this? Because how many of you bothered to check? I'll tell you how many. The vast majority of you didn't. People who play the game, and those who followed the development cycle, knew I was lying through my teeth there. But those of you who came here and had no idea about the game, none of you even considered the possibility that I was making stuff up, did you? Or that I might be wrong. You took me at my word, without question. Do you see how easy it is to straight up lie? And that's exactly what happened. People got this impression of the game in their heads and began to repeat it without actually bothering to check if what they were saying was in any way accurate, thus spreading the lies of bad actors that were organizing harassment against Nemlei to the extent that they left the internet. Not even necessarily intending for that to be the case, but that's the consequence of what happened. So now you're there thinking, okay, well, QosmicVoid, you've made a very clever point executed incredibly well, to which I say in response, why thank you, kind hypothetical person. In response to which you say, of course, oh so intelligent analyst of media and apparent mind reader, since I was thinking that rather than saying it out loud, but anyway, I have a question for you. Yes, you've demonstrated that it is incredibly easy to lie to people, but you haven't explained why anyone would lie about this game. If anything, your own lie proved those naysayers correct, that the relationship between Andrew and Ashley is more prominent than you've been letting on. What were they lying about in that case, and for that matter, why? And that's a very fair thing to be wondering. And there is an answer. It's not a good one, but there is an answer. As we move into episode 3, there's going to be a lot of questions that we're looking for answers to. What are the themes of the Coffin of Andy and Leyley? What was the deal with their parents anyway? Why are Andrew and Ashley like this? How exactly were they raised? Oh, we have hints, for sure, and some degree of confirmation, but anything beyond what we've been directly told is assessed from implication and inference. What was the deal with the giant demon that they summoned in the cultist lair? That sure came up and then was never mentioned again. What was that about? Why was Nemlei harassed to the extent that they were? Was it just a game, or was there something else? What were the lies that were being told about Nemlei? How does Andrew and Ashley's relationship end up in this, questionable state? Is it through intentional erosion of boundaries, or some other force? And how will the game treat this subject? See, to my mind, the mere fact that Andrew and Ashley's relationship has the capacity to go down this path isn't actually a moral statement on the part of the game. That would be like saying that just by virtue of having it in the game, Plague Inc. Evolved is both supporting and making the moral case for developing a nanomachine virus to wipe out all of humanity. That's stupid, and you are stupid if you think that's how narrative and theme and media work. How the game will portray that relationship if it goes down that route, that's the part that will determine how one should assess the game's values. If it's actually in support of this sort of relationship, or whatever else it might have to say about it. And I will tell you about all of it next time. I wasn't expecting to have to split this up into more than 2 parts, truth be told. The plan was to wrap it up in this part, but as things changed as I worked on it, so much to talk about, so little time, that it just kinda made sense to make episode 3 its own thing. So that's what we're doing next time. We will look at the decay route and the multitude of endings that it offers us. You think that this has been bad? Oh, you sweet innocent soul. Chapter 3 is where whatever decency you thought was left goes to get kicked to death in a back alley by a psychopathic drug dealer and a neo-Nazi. It's gonna be awful. I'm looking forward to it. Until then, do the like, comment, subscribe thing, give me money, hype the video, sacrifice a goat to Lord Satan because I don't know what this site wants from me anymore. And I'll see you all next time. See yas.